Hey everyone, Ingrid is going to join in a second. I decided to go live because the live disappears after 10 minutes. Um, Let me check with them. Um, oh, wait, okay, hi. Hi. I went live because the live disappears after 10 minutes. So,
It's fine. I was.
are you
I just
okay?
lost track of time.
Yeah, it happens with everyone.
God.
I even put my lights today. I never do this, and the picture is actually decent. So
Sorry, what?
that's great.
Uh,
I actually put my lights today, the box lights
mm,
that I use for like filming, and it looks like the picture is decent. The first time in ages, I feel like I was embracing the pixels.
no,
Okay,
I was just like, what if I just don't do my makeup or something? And then I remember that this camera is a lot better than the last one. So
oh my God,
I had to do something to look decent, and I still look.
you look decent without makeup.
Mm. Um, I slept like 4 hours or something, and I had the audacity to ignore my alarm the first time. So that's why I'm late.
Oh,
But
okay.
I managed to get ready in time, sort of. And I was deciding on putting on this sweater, and I just realized that my room is not as cold as it was before.
Hmm.
So I might be gently roasting throughout the video.
Well, you can take it off if you want to. I mean, you're wearing something underneath.
Yeah,
Probably. I don't know. I do
it's
wear
another
something
shirt,
underneath.
but
I might I might take it off too because I'm actually like wearing full socks, pants, shirt, sweater because it's kind of cold-ish. I don't even know why because usually I'm not that cold and it's really hot apartment. They are the heating is very good. Or
I
I
was just
mean,
wondering the other day because my it gets cold outside. It has to be like cold for like 2 or 3 days. Then my room gets like on the first night that it's cold, my room gets cold.
okay.
But on the progression of days, the cold stays in. So regardless of if it's like getting warmer outside, my bedroom is still cold. And I was just wondering, what the fuck did y'all do when it's like below zero? But
I
I just
mean, we have
remember that
heating.
we're prepared for that. We're not,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that makes sense.
I mean,
Uh,
it's they usually don't actually switch on the heating because it's not separate for everyone. It's just joined for the whole apartment complex.
okay, it's
And
warm whether you like it or not.
yeah, it's gonna be warm at a certain point. It's just when the temperature drops to a certain level and it stays for a few days, then they switch it on. If it doesn't, you have to wait, and that's an issue sometimes because you get like 3 days that are very cold and then a warm day, and they don't switch it on because I think it's not a simple process or something. So you have to like you have to wait sometimes and it's cold. Like in October specifically. I think it's October, never November. Like early October or late October. And if you're lucky, you get early October. If you're not lucky this year, you get late October. So sometimes it gets cold and people walk around in clothing. But it's not common for people here to walk around in clothing in their houses or in their apartments because it's usually warm.
Mm.
Um, like I usually see that kind of thing, like people wearing full pajamas and sweaters and socks and booties, like in American media or Canadian
Yeah.
media. It's not like that here. And I think European countries also don't heat too much because they're really into being frugal and stuff.
It's just well, most houses are not like prepared for that, for like not even summer or like winter, because I don't know, they don't get like extreme weather. So
Mhm.
since weather is changing, now they're experiencing like real cold and real heat.
Mhm.
And I always see people, I notice that because that's like my experience. But I notice people that are like roasting on the summer because they don't have air conditioner at their homes, or they only have
Mhm.
like a little fan or something.
Mhm.
So I always wonder, like, if you know it's going to get hot, why don't you get the air conditioner?
Uh, I guess it's not cheap, but also, I mean, you can
Yeah,
get it
makes
cheaper
sense.
than when it actually comes. So when it actually gets warm, the prices increase for putting up like a station. But I guess it's also like kind of a not an easy job to do because it takes time and you have to be present for the guy to put it up. And it's
Yeah.
usually like a couple of people. And if you live in an apartment, you need to get the permissions, the keys to the
Oh yeah.
roof,
True.
or you need to get the permission from your neighbor. That is like if the this thing where they put the conditioner in, like the out part of it, is not on your level. If it's somewhere up or down,
Yeah.
you need to get the permission of the neighbor. That's actually what happened to me. And the guy that came didn't have the keys. He worked in those apartment complexes, and that's how I like lucked out because he knew where to get them. So he went to like the agency that works with us and asked for the key, and they gave them the key because they know him.
Yeah.
But I went upstairs and asked my neighbor, and she was such a cunt about it. So, like, literally, it was. They were like, "It's going to take us 15 minutes to put it." So, like, and I know that she doesn't have kids or anything like that to be opposed to it, you know. Uh, and I was like, calling her, saying, "Hey, can we like come in for 15 minutes?" um, and put the conditioner in, and you know, maybe I will pay you or something, you know, or do something
Yeah, for
as a
the
good
inconvenience.
neighbor. Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, actually, like I'm not at home, etc., etc." Fully lying because we can hear her
Mm.
upstairs. She was like, "No, I'm actually not home." I'm like, "Bitch, what a bitch." Anyway, I actually allowed my neighbors to use my apartment, and it was not a big struggle, you know. But she didn't, and I kind of hate her for that because I paid extra for it.
Yeah.
So okay, whatever. I'm actually adopting the cat. I told you
Oh,
that
that is
I'm going to
great.
adopt the
Yeah.
cat. Well, adopting is a big word because he was never in the shelter. It's just a
Yeah.
stray cat that I'm picking up from the street. Um, he was at my parents for maybe a week. In the like entering area, like you know the area where you put your boots and stuff. Because we wanted him separate from our other cat. Uh, because our other cat is sick and he might transmit him something. Um,
Yeah.
and also they're fighting every single time. My old cat Gosha wants to come out of the house because he's like half outside half inside cat.
Yeah.
This other one, the new one, we call him Mars, as in not as a candy bar but as a god of war, because he's constantly growling. And he's also red, and I think Mars the planet is red.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's constantly like, he also lost his voice probably because he lived outside for a long
Mm.
while. He's about 3 or 4 years old. So instead of meowing at my cat, to my other cat, he's not even growling. He's just making this weird sound with his I mean, he probably wants to meow, but he can't. So he sounds like a grandma or a granddad, you know?
Yeah.
It's really funny. I think sometimes I hear like something that is close to meow, but it's hard to say. I'm not sure he can meow at all. Uh, so every single time Gosha wants to pass, he's Gosha doesn't even do anything, and Mars wants to constantly growl at him or like meow at him in his
He's just
voice.
like, fight me, bitch,
I don't
constantly.
know. Maybe he's like trying to warn him or trying to say him don't touch me or something. I don't know because I don't know. But Gosha was so upset for the first few days. Obviously, they're both males, so and usually like they fight if they're both males. I don't know what it is with cats. Dogs never do this. Anyway, um, Gosha wanted to assert dominance by eating from his plate constantly. And the thing
Yeah.
is, we had this food for strays. It's like a cheap kind. Oh my god, what happened? Is it your dog? It's probably your dog.
What? You hear a
There's
snort?
some growling or something like a sigh or something. Oh, okay. It's snoring.
She's passed out and snoring loudly because we didn't get we need to buy dog food, like
Mm-hmm.
the big bag that feeds like the three dogs is empty. So my mom made her eggs,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a better breakfast than I did. I had instant noodles.
No.
So she ate a lot, ran outside. Now she's out.
So basically, the funniest part about this is that we have this cheap cat food, really, really cheap one, like a big, big bag of cat food, dry cat food,
Hmm.
that we bought to feed strays because we have a lot of strays in that area. And my cat is so picky, he never eats like dry food in general. He doesn't even eat like packeted foods, like, you know, he only eats raw meat, as in like chicken or mostly chicken. Anyway, he started eating that dry, fugly food, like the worst kind of food. I mean, it's not worst; it's food, but the cheapest kind of food ever from that uh, from Mars's plate. Like I've never seen him eat anything ever in my entire life. I laughed so much. Also, uh, he's actually not allowed to eat dry food because he has issues in his mouth. But he wanted that dry food like nothing else. Which is so funny. Um, he just wanted to tell him, "This is my house, bitch. Get out." So,
Oh my god.
and we also at first um we set Mars up in what is called place where you grow things in, like
Greenhouse?
yeah, uh because we have one and it's like warmer in there compared to like
Outside.
street. That yeah, outside. So and we put him there, put like organized his space and stuff. And after we took him out and Gosha figured out that this other guy lived in the greenhouse, he started pooping in there. So he now poops in the
Yeah.
greenhouse. He never did before. I'm like, my dude, you're so jealous. Like, it's an issue.
Oh my god. I just love I love when animals get jealous. It's very funny. My the big dog that lives inside used to be like the king of the house. And then we brought like my sister had her dog and I have mine. So he used to be super, super like fussy over food. He wouldn't like to eat. I don't know. We always give our dogs like bits of what we're eating, like vegetables and you know this. I don't know. It's like a dry cookie that it's like saltines, I think.
I don't know. A cracker?
Uh, it's yeah, sort of like that. We used to like eat tuna with it, and my brother eats it with like salsa. And my dog never used to like them. And
Hmm.
suddenly he's just like he saw us feed that to like the other dogs, and suddenly he's like, "Oh my God, that is like my actual favorite food. You should like give
That's
it
it.
all to me. That is for me
That
now."
is all I want to eat. Hmm.
Yeah. And the same, like my baby started to eat what like carrots, and then my other dog was like, suddenly carrots are the best thing in the world. You should like totally give it to me. Totally.
Carrots are in fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Tomato,
funny.
tomato too. Like she loves tomato, and my other dog is like, I believe that is mine. I think you should give that to me. I think every tomato in this house is actually mine. Now, if you actually accidentally drop one, he will steal it. He will grab the entire tomato and just run off.
I thought dogs are more cooperative and friendly. Like cats are usually very territorial,
And my
so it's
dog is
harder with
very
them.
no, actually, like these three don't get along very well. It kind of reflects me and my siblings. Um, my sister's dog tried to bite mine, so they don't. She actually like drew blood. She bit her around the eye. Luckily, she missed the eye. It was just like right here over like
Yikes.
the eyebrow, and we're like, no, those two are never getting back together in the same room ever. And my other dog he's so spoiled. He cannot tolerate anybody taking the attention from him. He is the star of the show, the diva. No one's
Hmm.
attention should be anywhere else but him. So he will whine and cry and puke if you don't pay attention to him. Ah, my big baby. And he's very, 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 very spoiled. Um, so now we have to keep the three of them separate. So my dog has the rest of the house. This one lives with me and goes everywhere with me. And my sister's dog is always like in her room and outside. So
Yeah, that's
they don't get along very well.
that seems like a hard thing to manage, actually.
It is a nightmare. And it's a daily thing because since the three of them can't be outside at the same time, I have to wait for like, or my sister has to wait for like this one to go outside and then the other one. And actually, my like the big dog does get along with my sister's dog, sort of. He kind of like stepped on her once, but nothing happened. She just like and removed the paw and just looked offended. But she didn't try to kill him. That is new. I
Okay.
see how things are.
Mm.
Little killer.
Anyway, I bought everything for him, so the house is set up. I probably will. I wanted to get him today, but we had to go for the last shot for my older cat. So I was too lazy to bring this new cat to the vet, so make 2 rounds.
Yeah.
And I think my mom is going to bring him to my place tomorrow, and then we're going to wash him. I do not want to wash him alone because he's very wiggly. Like my other cat and all my other cats were very patient, and this one he's not patient. Like he's not having it. He's really scared of like biting and scratching, probably because he didn't have the best experience with people.
Yeah.
So he's like scared of like uh actually doing something to you, but he's very wiggly and you cannot like get him to sit straight or like stand straight. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure how we're going to wash him tomorrow, but it's a task that needs to be tackled because I'm not letting him walk around on my bedding without having him washed.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm going to bring him to the vet and check him out. Although I'm like, he seems fine. Like I didn't see what can be wrong with him. Seems okay. Um, I mean, there could be some internal issues that I don't know about, but
Oh my God,
oh
give me a
my
second.
God, are you
She's
okay?
sneezing.
Is that sneezing? That sounded drastic. You're freezing. This was very pay attention to me.
Yeah, she does that sometimes. It's like a sort of sneeze. You know, like there's people that sneeze several times at this, like in
Yeah,
sequence. She does
sometimes I
that,
do this.
but in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like sneezing outwards, she goes like, and it sounds scary, but I already asked the vet, and he's like, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just
Oh, okay.
reverse sneeze." And it was
Okay.
just, I will
Okay.
believe you since you're the expert,
That's
sir.
a concept.
That
Hi,
is interesting.
Diane.
Oh,
Hi.
hello.
So basically, next time, um, during those live streams, I would probably be with a cat. Um, a baby. I mean, he's not a baby anymore. He's like 3 years for sure.
All the
Uh,
cats and all the dogs are
yeah.
babies forever.
I don't know.
That's
My
a baby.
my other cat is grandpa. I call him a grandpa. So I mean, he looks very young. Every single time I look at his face, I'm like, "You're a child," but he's not a child anymore. Uh, Especially he lost some of his teeth, and I'm like, "You're no longer a child."
Oh.
Uh, I mean, it happens to older cats, the tiny ones, the
Oh.
microscopic ones.
They're so tiny.
Yeah, they're so tiny, and I don't even know why they need them because I don't think you can do anything with them. Anyway,
Teeth.
soon,
Adorable.
soon you're going to see a cat here.
Lovely.
Probably during the next live stream. We also need to figure out how we're going to live stream about the new season. Are we going to go one episode at a time?
Yeah, probably.
Because it's
Because
like
if not, we would
fresher
have to
this
wait.
way.
Yeah, we would
Yeah,
have to wait like 2 weeks. So we finish next week,
yeah, we'll finish next
and
week.
the episodes come out on
February something, I think.
20 something, right?
Oh, so I think we're going to go on a break for a week, maybe?
Yeah, I think.
I'm not opposed to a break. I love breaks. Anyway,
Yes.
so we can talk about the trailer first if you want to, because I
Oh
have
yeah.
a lot of feelings and they're all negative.
Yes.
Not going to lie. I'm actually
Yes.
upset. I was already with the teasers feeling like something is wrong and something is happening that I'm not going to like. And this last trailer, the final trailer, is upsetting. It's an upsetting trailer.
It's just I don't get why they're wasting time when it's their last season.
Same. Like,
It's
do
just
you not have
you
a
don't
story to
have
tell?
yeah, yes, like and there's also that. I do believe showrunners should pay attention to the story that the public is interested in. Like, if the public is not that entirely invested into the 12, and they're watching this mostly for Villanelle and Eve, why not focus more on them?
I think it's a complex issue. I wouldn't ever say that the audience can control what the creator is doing, but there is a balance where the creator can lose the viewers because they're not doing what the viewers want them to do. But I guess you
Yeah,
gotta go with the risk if you want
I do
to.
get that, and I do get that like you can't like make everybody happy. For instance, like people will have different opinions. Maybe there is somebody out there that is
Maybe
super
there
invested
is
into the 12.
somebody out there that is like, Villanelle and Eve is not the thing. Like lesbianism, I don't see it. I'm not gonna be surprised, honestly.
There's always been those like few handful of people such deep in denial that they worry you. I am concerned for those people. I am worried. I saw that in every single fandom that I've been. When there is something gay, there's people that are like, oh no, they're friends. No, they're besties. They think of each other as siblings. Do you treat your siblings like that?
Thing is, I think they also are kind of what pisses me off. Okay, let's get to the crux of the issue. What pisses me off is they're trying to entertain that part of the audience by not being um, straightforward with it. Because if we're discussing the last trailer that we've seen together. I mean, not together, but we've both seen it. They are separating them. First of all, they've separated them, which is weird considering how the third season ended. It's weird. It's just like out of character, in my opinion. Like, I don't understand this decision because they finally sorted through their bullshit. Or rather, they didn't sort through their bullshit, but they decided that they want to, and they want to do it together. Kind of. Like, that's the point. Anyway, we're going to talk about the finale next week. But the thing is, they separated them, and they're both working on their thing. And I'm like, okay, they're working on their issues. Villanelle is working on her, um, working with a therapist about her murders and what makes her want to murder and why she even got into this profession and stuff. Probably also is going to talk about her family and stuff. But also, Eve is separated somehow from her and is working with some guy. Do we need new characters? This pisses me off. Why do we need new characters in the last
We're
season?
too far down the road to start popping up new characters, especially love interests. Like,
I don't know. I don't know if he's a love interest or maybe more of a hookup or like a
yeah.
casual
But at this
sex type of
point,
thing.
like, I think Eve is more than
I also am pissed off that
sure.
it's a dude, and I'm not going to lie. I'm pissed off that he's a dude. I'm
Yes.
also pissed off that it's. I'm sort of also pissed off that Villanelle gets some girl also. I'm like, what are we trying to do here? At
I
this point, I'm not accepting any love interest for them other than them.
each other. Yes.
Yeah.
It's I want to believe like I think like I told you on over the chat that I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because like we've been talking about the previous seasons, people assumed a lot of things out of the trailers when the trailers came out, like for this season that the Villanelle's wedding was going to be a thing and that it was going to like be
A
her
wife and
being
stuff.
married was going to be a thing. And it was just like, what, 5 minutes of an episode or less. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they're just trying to put up like a misleading trailer. Uh, but aren't they like risking people not watching it?
Thing is, I feel like people will watch it because it's the last season. They're not
Yeah.
risking anything at this point.
It's
And
just
I'm
that
worried about that because if they're not risking anything, they're not obligated to go through with their promises. You know what I mean?
true. But also I have to like be completely honest. This season, like season 3, is terrible.
I mean, it has
And
moments.
it has its moments and it has like very good scenes, but like I can't tell you like a full episode that I really love. I just love like chunks of the episodes.
Yeah, me
When
neither.
in past seasons, I loved. Oh my god, there's a little fight. When there were like in the first and second seasons, there were full episodes that I loved. So this time it's just like, oh, okay. the characters are pulling through this
Yeah.
season because holy shit, the story's all over the place. And
I've so many holes actually. I've seen so many holes.
yeah,
Anyway, uh, I don't know. My worry is they show in this like trailer, the final trailer. There are so many scenes of them not being together and working on their own things that I'm like, are we going to go with the same plot structure you usually go for a season of Killing Eve? Is
yeah,
it going to be they're not together but they're thinking about each other, and then the last two episodes is them
them
missing
together.
each other, and then they're together? Like, I
Now
am so fed up with this bullshit, to be honest.
I've heard the whisperings from Tumblr.
Okay.
But again, since we've been on Tumblr, people have been incredibly wrong about things over time. I'm not giving it like much faith. But there's this scene where there's a car going over, I think, a cliff or something.
Don't remember.
There were people uh, bringing up Thelma and Louise.
Oh no, not
So,
that. Not the cliffs
so
again. The car
not the
doesn't make
cliff.
it better.
Seriously, somebody printed out a sign for every cliff that is
The
keep
car
your
doesn't make it
homosexuals
better.
away from the
I
cliffs.
think also I'm so fed up. I recently saw this tweet and I'm in so much like I agree so much with it. I'm so tired of villains being going on the like what's this arc called? You know what I
A
mean?
redemption
A
arc?
redemption arc. Of going on the redemption arc and then being killed off at the end of the redemption arc.
Yeah.
Like, it's the redemption arc is kind of useless if
Yeah,
the villain
I will
dies
always
at the
love
end.
corruption arcs a lot more than redemption arcs.
I
Go
mean,
fucking ape shit is the best.
it's interesting that they're doing a redemption arc with Villanelle and a corruption arc with Eve.
Yes.
Because it's like, what are we doing here? Are we just
I
switching places, whatever?
exactly.
I don't know.
Maybe.
So
So
that guy that she has sex with, and we know that she's going to have sex with this guy that is teaching her that killing people is fun, and I'm like, okay, like what is going on? Are we like, is it going to be a plot point that Eve suddenly wants to kill people? Well, suddenly is questionable here, but okay, that she wants to kill people, and Villanelle is like, no, I'm no longer killing people, so we can be together. Is that a
it,
thing?
it would be very weird
What's
that
going
the
on?
show progressed into a direction and they even gave us like more solid things that, for instance, Hannibal did. And then they're starting to queer bait this far down the road. But
Like
it's
I'm
just like, oh, they're in love, but they're not going to be together. They're in love. Just
And the thing is, the scene with Eve and that guy doesn't seem very serious because it does look like an adrenaline fueled quickie, you know?
yeah,
But the scene with Villanelle seems a bit more serious because it's framed in a way that seems a bit more serious. Like
yeah,
the scene with Villanelle and this other new girl. Because the music is different and like the way they look at each other is different. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. If are you beating me? Is it real? Is it not real? You know what I mean?
yeah,
And the thing is, there is a promise, there is a scene in the room with the aquarium where they sit near each other and they talk about their relationship. And Villanelle is kind of trying to hold Eve's hand, and we get a close up of it. So the script writers, they think about this, like they know what's going on. It's not like they're unaware what they're doing.
yeah,
But like I'm very confused. Like I'm both angry and confused at the same time. And also, I think what they're going to do, the most logical thing with what they've shown us in this trailer, is to expect them to do big jump, a big time jump from the point from the end of season 3, because with season 3 the separating doesn't make any sense at all, like any sense,
No, it doesn't.
because at
I
the
was
end of
I was
season 3 they
actually
decide that they're going
I,
to be together.
I was mad in like the ending of season 3, but yeah, we'll talk about that next time. It's just that
This
uh
coffee is so disgusting. I'm sorry. I made myself some. I bought myself some pods with almond based what it is, flat white coffee, and it's so bad. It's so bitter and for no reason, actually. I don't know what to do with it. I need to pour some syrup in it or add some milk. I don't have any milk in my fridge.
I always my coffee is 50% milk and like a, a reasonable, maybe a slightly unreasonable amount of sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah, so there's a point
Thing
where
is,
my parents asked, "Is that even coffee anymore?" And
I don't
I don't
treat
know, it's tasty.
coffee. I don't treat coffee as a wake me up type of drink. I usually
Yeah.
drink coffee as a dessert.
Yeah.
So for me, coffee is like an indulgent drink. That's why I love Starbucks. And people hate me for liking Starbucks, and I hate them for gatekeeping me because maybe I love a coffee flavored dessert. What it is to you? Like, what
Exactly.
about it?
I don't get it, especially that is like 90%. My sister, she drinks black coffee with a little bit of sugar,
Mhm.
and she gets so pretentious about coffee. I'm like, at this time and age, you're being pretentious and gatekeeping coffee. Are you kidding me? It's just, I don't care if it's like syrup, pure syrup and pure like chemical taste and just like anything but coffee. Coffee, I love it. Especially because I really like to drink instant coffee but made with milk instead of water. That is the best thing
Ooh.
ever. That is
Ooh,
delicious.
sounds revolutionary, to be honest. It's
Really?
blowing my mind. Yeah.
It's
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 like
very common
cocoa.
here
It's like cocoa, but it's coffee
with coffee.
instead of.
Yes, so it's just like very like you warm up the milk at
I need to
the
try that.
instant coffee, like sugar and a little bit of salt, like
Um,
the little tip of
mhm.
salt, and it's the best thing ever. Love it, 10 out of 10.
I need to try that.
Highly recommend. Yes.
I'm going to try
Um,
that if I have instant coffee. I think I have some.
so my sister is just like, that is not even coffee. And it was like, I don't care. It's good. It's tasty. That is usually what I drink when I am reading. By the way, I am doing good reading.
Oh, okay,
Yay.
okay. We're going to talk about that later. Anyway, so I'm very worried that because they don't have to keep any promises, they are not like they know that there's not going to be a fifth season.
Yeah.
They're
It's just
going to like
I hope
fuck
they
everything
go.
up.
I wish they go into the direction that they did with Hannibal. That they knew that it's the last season. Fuck it. Like let's go wild. And instead of going backwards, I feel like we're going backwards here.
Yeah,
Uh,
same. I feel like we talked about those issues already, and now we're talking about them even more. And I'm like,
yeah.
you are wasting time. Also, somehow Helen is involved with Eve now, and I'm like, what is going on? What is going on?
No, I have no idea.
I love black coffee, but my daily coffee is oat milk plus instant coffee plus Starbucks hot chocolate mix plus cinnamon. Okay,
Ooh.
I need to branch out. I'm stuck with my uh like um coffee from the machine from the pods, but I need to like experiment. I need to buy some syrups, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Like the summer is coming. I need to like do the thing. Also, Diane, did you know that oat milk? I also drank a lot of oat milk before, and I got this interesting piece of information that scared the fuck out of me. Apparently, oat milk and oats are bad if you have issues with your what this area is called. Um,
Uh, Tyrant?
thyroid. Yeah, if you have thyroid
Yeah.
issues, oats are like don't have to be in your diet or something. Like it's bad for you apparently. So,
Oh.
and I had those, I have a thyroid issue. So I was like, oh my God, I was drinking oat milk for 2 years. And I immediately panicked and drop kicked it. Like, no oats for
Nope.
me.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm now on cashew milk, actually, and
Interesting.
regular milk.
Yeah.
Um,
I
nothing, honestly, I feel like at this point, like at this age, it's like it's considered to be uncool to drink
yeah.
dairy, but
Yeah.
I love cow titties and I love milk.
Yes, it's just especially because like queer culture and
It just
on
doesn't
especially like
taste the
on
same.
TikTok and everything, queer culture is just like being vegan and like drinking like oat milk and like almond milk and all that. It's just like, sorry, you're not going to take the dairy out of me ever. Rice milk. Okay.
Oat milk is only the cancel out the acidity of coffee. I also really liked coffee with oat milk. I think it's the best kind with coffee specifically. No
Mm.
thyroid issue, but I have bad acid reflux, so it works for me. Okay. Oat milk is anti-inflammatory. Cashew milk and rice milk are my favorite too. Cashew milk on its own is the best tasting, and I think in like uh if you're like eating, I don't know, granola with it, or you know, cornflakes or something. Rice milk, never tasted it, never tried it.
I mean,
Almond milk is okay, but also
yeah.
weird
You
sometimes.
usually when my mom or my sister get almond milk, it's either very thick and like sweetened to the point where it's like almost kind of like a milkshake,
Sorry,
or it's incredibly
extra.
watery and terrible. So I'm just gonna stick with regular milk.
Listen, I love regular milk and lactose. I thought at some point that lactose makes me feel weird, like makes my stomach upset, and it doesn't. It doesn't. I feel like it was something else, and I was like, yeah, lactose makes me feel so bad. I'm like, no, no, actually lactose is fine.
There was a time where I felt just like yeah, it's just like it's milk not setting well with me. Turns out it was the brand of milk we were getting. They had a big issue because the containers the milk was stored in was I don't know, like kind of rusty or moldy or something like that.
Mm,
It was something nasty that they
okay.
discovered about it. So we just like switched brands, and then everything was fine. It was just like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, was they were just being gross. Got it. Cool beans. I can still
Happens.
drink milk. Yes.
I mean, also, have you ever tasted like milk from the cow? As in, like,
No, I never had like straight up.
I
Never.
did.
My parents had.
I I had before many times, and it's after you get a taste of like uh factory made milk, as in like
Yeah,
pasteurized,
yeah.
it's a weird experience. At some point I was like, it was very like the usual thing for me to drink this kind of milk because I spent a lot of time like on the farm with my aunt. But after I got a taste of like pasteurized milk, I was like, this milk tastes weird. I don't know. Obviously, the logical thing is to think that the pasteurized milk is weird, but after you drink a lot of it, going back to like right from the titty milk is weird. Like it has a weird aftertaste or something is like wrong. I mean, it's not wrong. It's probably something is right with it, and something is
Yeah,
wrong with the
probably.
pasteurized milk. But something is like
I think that
it's
the
an experience.
pasteurized milk is kind of sweetened. At least here, it's
Maybe it's
kind of
because that
because you drink it like right like without anything else, and it's kind of sweet. And I'm just like something tells me that the real thing
there's
is
sugar
not
in it.
sweet. Yes.
I mean,
So
It isn't sour or anything. It is a little. It's a bit sweet. Also, the goat milk is so sweet. It's incredibly sweet. It's like your teeth hurt from how sweet it is, and it's
Interesting.
naturally very sweet. Probably there's a difference between different goats because they eat different things.
Yeah.
So it's probably, but I remember it because my cousin, the daughter of my aunt, she mm, she was anemic, so she had issues with blood and stuff. And the doctor told my aunt that she needs to drink goat milk regularly to like feel better. I don't know if it's real science actually, but back in the day, it was a common advice. So
Mm.
they decided to get a goat. So they got a goat, and they were milking the goat. And I tasted the goat milk, and I was so turned off from it because it was so incredibly sweet. Like my teeth were hurting from how sweet it was.
Wow.
I love fresh milk. It tastes like thick cream. Uh, yeah, the best thing about like fresh dairy stuff is the cream, the butter is amazing,
Mm.
and all kinds of like sour cream, cottage cheese, those kinds of things, but they're very very fat heavy, and they're delicious because fats are delicious, let's be honest.
Yeah. Oh, going back to the coffees. Um, I've seen people trying out floral syrups for coffee, and I do
Okay,
wonder how that tastes. Like lavender, rose,
lavender is fine.
chamomile. I've never tried it. Like
We have
I've had teas, like floral teas, but not like mixed with coffee, and I'm a little curious about it.
lavender coffee is pretty common here, like you can
Mm.
buy it at any coffee shop. It's like a popular taste. But it's when there's a lot of milk, it's okay. If there's not enough milk, it's kind of But also, rose is disgusting. Like rose flavored things to me are disgusting. So I'm
Yeah.
like, no, thank you. Chamomile, interesting. I don't even know how the coffee
I
will
I
taste with
just I
chamomile.
just saw somebody drinking a chamomile latte. It was
Okay.
just it
Okay.
never crossed my mind to put
Thing
milk in it.
is, chamomile is a bit bitter on its own. As in, like,
Yeah.
if you're making a chamomile tea, it's bitter. So I don't know. Maybe it's like a trend now that all people are participating in, but it's not
Yeah,
actually that good,
there
you know?
that's the with the whole like cottage core and stuff. People are trying more eclectic coffees that's just like
Maybe, I don't know. I
uh
mean, I'm always up to like
people
up.
are going like crazy with the butterfly pea tea or something that it's
I
called.
thought you're going to say butterfly pea, and I'm like, how do we even
No,
collect that?
it's oh gross. No, it's just like a flower that it changes colors. So people use it
Oh,
for
I know this kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
use it for lemonades because it changes from like purple to pink,
yeah, yeah,
blue to
yeah.
pink or to purple or stuff like that. It's just like that thing that you use in science, the little strips that change color with
Yeah,
a
yeah,
level of acidity. So can't fucking remember what that's called. But people are also going for crazy for that. There's one that it's called like cloud latte that it's blue milk with the white foam and it looks very good and fake and I really like it but apparently it's made with that flour so that's why it's blue but
yeah.
I'm just like blue milk
Listen, sometimes things look cute, but they don't taste cute
like
at all.
like when people were going crazy for the cloud cakes that they were just
Cloud
made
cake.
with starch.
Ooh,
They were
okay.
like extremely fluffy little things that you like broke apart the thing and they was just like, oh, you just need to make it with starch and sugar and some syrup and baking it and stuff like that, like beaten eggs. So they were like very fluffy, super squishy, and they look beautiful. And I always heard like, "Oh my God, it looks so pretty and everything." I never once heard anybody say that they're tasty, just that
Oh,
they
okay.
look good.
That's
So
a sign.
and they suddenly like stopped.
I
People
mean,
were
you
going
can
crazy over it
fluff
and
up
then stopped.
things. You can fluff up, fluff, fluff, fluff up
Yes,
things
yeah,
with baking soda.
yeah.
Um,
And like whipping eggs until they're like fluffy.
yeah,
That's how
I
they
guess
make the fluffy pancakes and the fluffy cheesecake. Oh my God, the fluffy cheesecake is such a fucking hassle to make. The stars need to be aligned. You need to make a blood sacrifice. The fucking thing
that's how I felt about.
collapses.
That's how I felt about meringues for a long time
Oh
until
my God. Why
I
are
got
they
to the
so fluffy?
point until I got to the point where I understood that you just cannot make them in like without a KitchenAid.
Mm,
You just cannot do this
yeah,
otherwise. You have to have a metal bowl and a KitchenAid because your hands are just not that strong.
yeah. Also, I think
Mm,
the heat intervenes.
yeah, I've had butterfly PT in Asia. Tastes nice. I've seen it before on like ASMR eating channels
Yeah, it's
because
always on like Instagram and stuff.
yeah.
It looks pretty.
I've been into boba hardcore in the past few months.
I have not tasted boba yet.
The first time I tasted boba, I'm not going to lie, it was disgusting to me because of the texture. And then
Oh yeah,
somehow, a few years later, I'm like obsessed with it. Also, probably the first time I tasted it, it wasn't sweet enough. Like it wasn't this the syrup. They basically like uh boiled the boba and then put it in a syrup.
yeah.
And I think the first time I tasted it, there was not enough syrup. So and they weren't very chewy. They were very hard. I think
No, they were not.
it was not done well.
Yeah.
So I now found the shop. It's very aesthetic and it's beautiful. They also do cheese teas and stuff. Google it. It's beautiful and also it tastes good. It's like cream cheese fluffed up. Really good stuff. Uh
Interesting.
they also do some like fruit drinks and it's really pretty and it tastes so good, but it's far away from me. So if like a few weeks ago I was planning trips specifically to this place without actually saying that I want to go into this tea shop. As in, like, I wasn't telling myself that I'm going to the tea shop, but actually I was planning to go to that place for this specific reason. So that's
It's
kind of
important.
where I am right now. I also am kind of like, am I actually going to like why go to that place when I can actually do it at home? Like it's not very hard, but I need to order some boba, like some tempura
Yeah, I've
pearls.
seen that you can like just buy
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
packet and make them.
Obviously, as an Asian, I love boba. The adjectives to describe well done boba is being QQ squishy. Well, yeah, the first time I tasted it wasn't good. Okay, should
I
we
don't know if
move?
they're squishy.
Should we move
Probably.
to the episodes? I know that
Yeah.
we really don't want to talk about the episodes because honestly, there's not much to talk about.
Yeah.
I want to dig my heels and toes and everything into the Russian setting because baby, it wasn't authentic in any way. Like they were trying to give visual cues that foreign people would recognize and would associate with Russian setting. But in the first time I watched the episode, I wasn't consciously looking at the inaccuracies. But this time I was laser focused and I was like, some of these things are just choices. So, yeah.
I was a little I was paying not that much attention because mostly I wanted to ask you like how was it? Because there's so many things similar to festivals here that it was just like this feels so oddly familiar.
I've never seen a festival like that, even in Moscow. So I'm like, okay, this
If you say
seems
yes.
this
Yeah,
seems weird. The shit throwing contest, at that point, I was like,
why?
you really went there. Like, I I don't know what happened, how you came up with this idea at all. You were like Googling rural Russian life and you saw this like rounded pieces of shit. People actually use them for heating, just so you understand, or as like uh, food for um, not for people or animals,
Yeah.
for plants.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so like people actually use shit of animals, like of cows and um, horses, for things. That's actually a thing. I collected some in my days when I was a child. My mom and my aunt and my grandma was like, "Here, Nicole and Christina, take this bucket and go outside and collect some shit for us." That's a real thing. You collect shit of animals for like to use.
Yes.
Also, people build houses with animal shit. Straight, not lying.
Yeah,
That's a
I
thing.
saw something about that on like National Geographic or something
And
ages ago.
supposedly, it actually doesn't smell like anything. They mix it with hay or something.
Yeah.
Um, it's a thing, pretty common. My grandma had one of the houses was built from wood. One of the houses was built from shed,
Yeah.
and it was fine. Never smelled like anything. And also, I think they did that to so it would be better heated or something. So
Yeah, for insulation.
yeah, so it's like a thing. But throwing shit, as in we're in the Olympics, not a thing. Like
Oh my
they
god.
just thought that they are rounded and they were like
They were just trying to make
in
it
the
into
Olympics.
like the most like I don't know, like weird and
Yeah,
distant
it was
and kind
kind
of
of
like
like, oh, Russians are crazy. Like let's do the
that is
crazy
the
thing.
most we hear like the we hear here in this place. It's just that oh there's a guy on a motorcycle with a bear. And he was just like, oh okay. And
That's
then there's that person with I don't know, the tiger walking around, just weird stuff.
These people are odd for us also. Like they're not
Common.
commonly, yeah, they're not common. Like there are bears sometimes, like any other wild animal, come out of the woods and terrorize a town or something. That happens because it's a
Yeah, but
wild animal.
I swear to God, news make it seem like oh, just people in Russia have
Yeah,
bears for pets.
yeah. We're fine with bears, like bears outside. No, the wildest animal that you would see people like keeping in their houses are like mini pigs, which is something that it actually came from Europe. It wasn't common before that.
Mm.
So like I I I don't think.
I just and people
Oof.
dare to say, "Oh, they have theirs as pets," as if we
Sure.
didn't have weird animals here as well that people keep as pets.
Do
There's
one
people with
fucking
crocodiles. There's people with ducks. There's people with like ducks in the city, not
I
like
s- I saw a lady like a few years prior to this that walked an actual feeding pig near her house.
just
She walked her on
yeah,
a leash, and it's like a huge pig, like not a mini pig, like a real
yeah,
huge pig,
full size pig.
full size pig. And I think they weren't planning to eat it. So I'm like, you're legit
There
keeping
was
a pig
a
as a pet.
I do remember, like, back in 2012, 2000 something, there was this, like, people were adopting pigs all over the place. And talking, I wanted a pig. My parents said no, and I was just, okay,
Why?
fine, no pigs for me. Instead, I got this little baby instead of a pig.
Better than a pig.
And, but there were a lot of people that were scammed, and these people like sold mini pigs, and they were actually just regular pigs, just like very babies.
Fuck.
And there were people that were just stuck with gigantic pigs.
Thing is, pigs eat a lot.
I imagine.
They eat a fuck ton. Like, I have plenty of experience with like farm animals because of going to a farm like every single summer. And pigs eat a lot. They're very intelligent, but like intelligent. I mean, as much as an animal can be intelligent. When people say
Yeah.
animals are intelligent, I'm like, not compared to humans. Uh, they're pretty smart, but also and also actually not that dirty as you would expect.
Yeah,
But
I know.
they eat so much. They eat so much. They eat everything, but they eat so much. So I'm like, okay, not sure.
Yeah.
And
Big
honestly, like
babies.
keeping a pig doesn't seem like, unless you really like pig meat, uh, keeping a pig seems a bit useless because when you're keeping a cow or you're keeping chickens, you kind of get, milk and eggs in the
Yeah.
process. And pigs are kind of useless until you tie them.
Eat them. Yep.
Yeah. Uh,
I love pigs, but damn, bacon is good.
yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, that lady probably just kept the pig as a pet. So speaking of the episode, we start with Villanelle going to Russia apparently. Also, I fucking hate the the term that people use, Mother Russia. I'm like, are we like, what is that? Mother Russia. I'm like, okay, like what is that supposed to mean? Like,
I don't
what
know.
did this come from?
It's the image that America has been selling for forever. So now we're
Like,
stuck. I
what are
like
you
I
trying
have
to say here? I would expect
it,
that every single piece of land that you were born on, as in like every single country you were born in, is your mother, I guess, parental figure, something like you have roots there.
and I've never heard of that outside of like people talking about Russia. Um,
I don't get it. I literally
mhm.
don't get where that came from. But
Spy
okay,
movies.
I don't know. It's weird. Can I go pee for a second? Because I'm not
Yes.
sure I'm going to. I drunk because my coffee is disgusting. I'm drinking coffee and then drinking water, so I got a lot of liquid
Off
in
you go,
me.
baby. So, uh, it's not like we're sticking too much to the episode. So to go on another tangent, uh, I I am getting a little bit tired of the books that I'm reading. There's a series of novellas that about serial killers, but there is a point where just reading about people being evil for the sake of being evil stops being interesting. It's just um, there is a symmetry to match up with the lives these people had and why they became the way they became and why they do what they do. But it's just the one that I'm reading now. It's called Birds of Prey. Nowhere near as fun as Harley Quinn's Birds of Prey, but it's it's just like villain origin stories. The microphone.
What are you talking about?
What I'm reading.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still reading those like serial killer novellas,
Mm-hmm.
and the one that I'm reading now, it's a longer one, but it's just like um they're they amassed a little collection of serial killers for these
Mm-hmm.
books. It's just they're pushing it a lot with the idea that serial killers encounter other serial killers like often.
Mm-hmm.
I
I doubt
don't
it.
think yeah, they don't meet that often.
In
And
prison, maybe.
especially they don't like, oh, we're the same. Let's just work
Yeah,
together.
sure.
Let's do a collab here.
I honestly think that if one serial killer met the other serial killer, they would try to kill this person.
They
With the
they
amount
always
of
go
ego that these people have.
yes. They usually do go like one of those two ways. Either they try to kill each other or they don't. They try to like work
Or they try
together.
to fuck each other. Not a thing that happened,
Kind of.
probably. I wish it happened for you.
So
As in, like, you probably would have had a better experience reading.
definitely not here because they I don't really I'm getting a little bit bored because
Mm-hmm.
making a person they're the people writing this they're just like, oh, what is the creepiest thing I can think of, what is the grossest thing I can
Mm-hmm.
think of, and they're just like exchanging uh being grotesque and gruesome for like actual terror.
Okay.
So it's just like this people hacking at other people the entire okay, I guess. There's the point where just like, oh, yep, there's another dead person. Up, another one. Up, dead. Up,
So it
the
got
yep,
old
that's a
very
piece.
quickly.
And especially because like not all this they're not they didn't try to like really make or
Mm-hmm.
I guess they didn't. I don't know. They didn't really try to make them very likable. Like uh Lucy,
Mm-hmm.
that's the female serial killer. She's
Mm-hmm.
just there, I guess. She has her personality, but more like I'm not like other girls' personality for a serial killer. And then there's this guy that is just like, oh, I'm gonna rape somebody. Oh, I'm gonna feed them their face. Oh, I'm gonna kill somebody. It's just like, sure, you've been saying that this entire time. Do you know anything else, my guy? And he's like, oh my god, I've gotten away with everything. And then there's this dumbass that came out at a truck stop. He drives like a big rig, and he's just my thing are feet. And I'm like, can we not? I bite off toes. I'm just like, and he's like,
Man,
oh, they're like chewy and like cartilages, and
crunchy.
just my guy, that's actual bone. Don't. I also there's that. I do believe movies can get away with this shit. I don't think books can get away with like being inaccurate about stuff like that. It's just like you cannot chew a finger. There's bone. It's not chewy. It's not they say like it's cartilage. It's just not like that. And then
Well, I guess.
um I the chapter I was reading last night, it's the oh the book that I'm reading right now, it's called Birds of Prey, and it's just like
Mm-hmm.
the origin stories of these killers that we have collected over the books.
Okay.
And it's just like, okay, sure, I guess. Yeah, that sounds pretty traumatizing or something.
I
This
want to say
guy
something. Okay.
this guy he's talking about how his parents went crazy after some guys uh assaulted them and took his little sister and everything. That chapter was good and it was horrible and it was very well done. But like on the next time they appear, the parents went crazy and they started kidnapping teenage girls that resemble the daughter that they lost. And I was just like, okay. And there's this point where the girl runs down the stairs and she hits the ground and she has no legs anymore. And it was just like, come
Okay.
again? Say what?
Sorry. What?
Uh, yeah,
Doesn't seem consistent with the plot.
this doesn't add up, and it's just like, oh, I put some razor wire on the stairs. You can't cut off a leg running into wire. I don't care how fucking
Like,
sharp
you
the wire
can
is.
cut yourself very
Yes,
badly, I guess.
exactly. Even the movies of like Saw that were not terribly accurate, even the movies like Saw, they realized that if you want to cut somebody's leg off with wire, it has to be with like tension,
Yeah.
like wrapped around and then start pulling until like it cuts off. And even then the bone breaks and that's how it falls.
Cutting
You
the limb
can,
off is actually really hard. That's
yes,
why amputating legs or
and
hands
that
is
is
difficult
why yeah, and
during
why
the
most
war and stuff,
exactly, and why
the
most of the
hospitals
time it was done at the
with
like
a
um
saw
the at the joints.
at the joints with the
It's
saw.
easier
Yeah.
to like instead of cutting halfway here, you cut here because it's easier to separate the joints and
Don't
just
show
like
yourself.
sorry. And
No, you're gonna be sorry. That's why I'm telling you. Don't show on yourself. Don't you have this?
what?
Basically, here it's like people say, don't show stuff on yourself, or it's going to happen to you. So
Oh, okay, got it.
So when people show on themselves something, especially like health related or like
Yeah,
body related, people are like, "Don't show on yourself."
yeah. There's a thing here similar to that, but uh, I am a little bit too. It's too late for that. I'm always trying to like
Show it
explain
yourself.
murder here, and so they're getting on like my nerves, and I still have two
How
books
many?
more to go. They're getting like bigger. This one is
So
180 pages.
I wanted to tell you something.
Oh yeah,
Apparently, script uh is now allowing 30 days free use, like allowing to use the app for free for 30 days without actually putting in your credit card or any card. So if you're interested, just
yeah,
putting it out there,
interesting.
and
Yeah, yeah,
anyone who's listening, because they're honestly really bad as far as I know, heard, at canceling their subscription. If you give them your card, it's probably forever. So without a card kind of deal is actually tempting because like you don't have to put anything in.
I think I
Just
saw
putting it out
your
there.
tweet about it. Yeah,
Yeah. I just in case you didn't see it.
yeah,
So we started this episode,
yes,
our 1 hour in. We started this episode with Villanelle going back to Russia. I can't critique the bus. I don't remember how it looked like. I can't critique the nature because honestly, there's too much to critique. Not about the nature, but about other stuff. And if I'm going to like uh, critique every single tree, it's gonna be weird. So basically, she goes to this tiny village apparently that doesn't look very tiny. First of all, their house, like they have two houses. They have a barn and a house, but they
yeah,
don't have animals, but they have a barn. Okay, so basically, they somehow have this really large, uh, like really large, what it's called, like land, piece
yeah.
of land. And I'm like, okay, is it modern farming? How do they have this much land? Thing is, in USSR, people didn't own land, as in like it was public use, as in there was this um, what it's called organization called kolkhoz, which means that it was like land that everyone tended. This all these things that they received from this land comes into one barn, and people share it, and some of it is sold, etc. So basically, people worked not on their own sort of land, but on a public use land. They probably had like small pieces of land where they could garden and stuff, but this large scale piece of land was never in their hands. Where some people owned pieces of land, but not that this kinds of lots, like not a big part of land. So that was weird to me because if you like Google pictures of Russian villages specifically, not small towns, villages, the houses are very close to each other. So they would have neighbors close, not, and this seemed kind of like
middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere, yes, and also kind of American South-ish from what I've seen on TV. So I was like, okay, I'm not sure that's valid. I'm not sure it's real. Like, I definitely have not been in every single village in Russia, but that seems sus to me. But okay, so they tried to go for the aesthetics of older Russian houses, and I'm like, no one has houses like that anymore. But okay, like the outside with the what's it called in English? Like these circular wood, I don't know how to call it in English, but they like the very classical idea, the very like first idea that comes to mind when you think about a Russian house, specifically. Like the house that is built with wait a bit, I'm going to find the translation. Sorry, I was like, just it's a weird mix of things, because they left some what? Okay, I found it. Wood. They just call it wooden house, but it's not. They're like logs. They're made of logs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like kind of, yeah.
So no one really has those types of houses anymore, and like they were very selective with what they decided to make modern and what they decided to keep older looking.
Yeah.
Because like people rebuild houses constantly, and also probably some people still have these types of houses left from their ancestors and stuff. But also inside of the house, I was like, I doubt this because it's open plan, and I'm like, excuse me. Open plan houses became popular fairly recently. So I don't buy it. And also they have a separate kitchen and dining area, and I'm like, what in the millionaire village bullshit is this? Because usually the kitchen and the dining area is the same room. Like the dining area, as in like separate room, is also very modern concept. As in like not that it's set in like the 90s or something, but if it's an old house, how does it have modern, architecture inside, like modern interior? So it's interesting also that like I wasn't focusing on this when I first watched this, but the second time around I was like, and on the big screen I was like, okay, this kitchen is older looking but also weird in a way because first of all they have an older gas what it's called furnace, not stove,
furnace,
not furnace, okay. No, not furnace, stove, which is okay, it's fair because in this village they might have gas, not electricity for like this for use, but they also have a pretty modern fridge, as in like I would expect, and this fridge is a 2-door fridge, which is, you just have to understand that it's luxury. Like People in apartments don't have double door fridges, and it's not very common. Like, it's not a very common type of fridge in Russia in general.
Yeah.
You would see those types of fridges in American media, in big houses or houses with a lot of people, but we don't have those. Like, we have some. Like, you can go to an electric, like an appliance store and see a double door fridge, but people don't really buy them. Like, there are probably some people that want to live fancy and they buy those, but they are very expensive. And also, with like in a village, I would expect them to have a modern one door fridge if they're sort of rich and can buy one or have money can buy one. But a lot of houses like that, in a lot of houses like that, and we also had this type of like the older type of fridge for a long time because they do work and they're good. The USSR, the ones that were popular in USSR, the ones that were made in USSR, like like an older ZIL fridge. If you've ever seen like a vintage fridge,
Yeah.
like they're very like um, they don't have sharp lines usually. You know, they're
Yeah,
smaller.
people are using it again for like aesthetics.
Yeah,
Those
but
type of
they were
fridge.
very popular in USSR and they were made in USSR. But they also were so good that they lasted till our generation. And some people still have them. So I would expect this type of fridge for them to have this type of fridge, or at least a modern but one door fridge, not a double door fridge. Like a double door fridge is it was just such a striking image for me because I was like, a double door fridge, are you serious? Also, the second thing that I picked up immediately, uh the washing machine in the kitchen, first of all. Once again, a pretty modern trend, a washing machine in the kitchen for us, because we usually had washing machines in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Uh, but okay, they decided to put a washing machine in the kitchen. Okay, like it's
We
not a problem.
usually have them outside.
Maybe outside. Never heard about this concept. I've heard that some people have separate rooms for
There's
washing.
yeah, I like my house has a room for like a washing machine, but here there's this usually all the houses here have backyards or at least a little space around the house. There's this place where just like before you leave to the yard, there's always like a little roof. Not always, sometimes there's a little roof, and that's where they hook up the like the washing machine, the dryer, and there's usually like a sink to wash like scrub clothes if they need to or anything. And most houses that have been here,
Hmm.
the washing machine and everything is outside
Hmm.
or in like in a tiny like separate room. I've
Mm.
never seen here people that have the washing machine either in the kitchen or in the bathroom.
They're putting washing machines in the kitchen now. It's a very modern trend, in like maybe it became popular in the last 5 years or something. And I was considering putting a washing machine in my kitchen, but I was like, it's gonna it's gonna be loud. Like, let's put it
Yeah.
in the bathroom.
And I understand like the bathroom a little bit better because in the kitchen, uh, I keep thinking that like isn't the clothes going to pick up the smells from the kitchen or like
But also you have to dry them somewhere, and people usually dry on the balcony if they have a balcony,
mm,
or they dry in the bathroom. So I was like, because we don't have like dryers are also a pretty new thing here. Like,
mm.
people don't put dryers in, and I think it's actually bad for your clothes. So I'm like,
Yeah,
whatever.
we used to have a clothesline outside, but the weather became a little bit too much. And there is my city is known
For
famously.
people stealing clothing?
No, for being dusty.
Oh,
Like
okay.
every time that it's, since it's like very hot, the earth is very dry, and we have a lot of winds in specifically this city. So if you forgot your clothes aside, or you like didn't check the weather or whatever, put the clothes to dry and they were wet, all the dirt would stick to it. So, and when we moved here, like the my parents built this house, we were the only house on this area. Like it was alone
Mhm.
everywhere. Uh, like the next house was not like entirely alone. Like you could see other houses from the windows, but we had like no neighbors nearby, so it was a shit ton of dust. So we
Mm.
quickly moved to having a dryer because uh, if the clothes would fly away if we didn't like secure them well enough. They would get dusty. Birds are famously dicks, and they
Yeah.
poop on the clothes. Um, Cats would try to like steal them, so we stopped that.
Better to have it
Uh,
inside.
yes, and this is fun because we have there's this, I don't know, because it's weird. It's weird even like in here. We have there's a hole, and it's like a balcony inside the
A
house.
glory hole?
Haha. There's a balcony inside the house. So it's just like domed ceiling. That it's so useless, but we were fancy. Back when we had plenty, there's like this dome inside the house on the roof, and then it's empty, and you can see to the floor below. And we have this like it's a circle. It's the whole way outside my bedroom is a circle. So you
Okay.
walk around in a circle, and it's just like my bedroom, a window,
Okay.
my parents' bedroom, the living room that we don't use, and then there's my brother's room, his bathroom, and then you're back at the stairs,
Mhm.
and that whole place you can see through like everything. It's all open. So when the dryer's not working or whatever, we just hang our clothes here around that little
Okay.
space. So we had like, yes, a nice drawing area, and it, but still funny to see like my brother's underwear just like hanging outside my room. Fun times.
I can count on, I mean, two hands, the number of times I've seen my dad wearing clothes inside the house. As in, like, he's constantly in his underwear.
Yeah,
So I'm used to it.
we're very fussy with that. I always bully my brother if his shirt is around the house.
I'm just used to it. My dad is completely shirtless in his underwear. Anyway, the biggest crime that they did with the washing machine, though, is not putting it in the kitchen, even though I object to it. It's that it has an opening on the top,
Oh,
and we don't like we have those washing machines, but we only started having them recently. Like they only started uh, uh, selling them recently. So I highly doubt, highly doubt, highly doubt that they would have this type. Usually we have like the ones with the circle
yeah, bullet.
opening, yeah, that
Yeah.
you open like this. So I'm like, doubt it. Since I live in Madrid now, the apartments also have that circular structure here, and we'll hang our clothes over the courtyard.
Yeah, it's just that there are places where like it's open, like actually open to like the outside, but this one is closed. We didn't want to like mess with the weather. Um, but that style of house from Spain, you can still see the architecture here from like colonization, and
Mm-hmm.
there's still like old apartment buildings, some restaurants, and a few of the like usually downtown are the places that look old and
Mm-hmm.
that still have those old structures, and you can see that kind of architecture, and it's nice. It's not very good for it's difficult trying to keep them cold during the summer, so people stopped building like that because it was a bit of a hassle, I think, with the temperatures and stuff and
The
cold
washing
as well.
machine part is not the most outrageous part, honestly. I'm like I have like a list of complaints in my head.
Yeah, I figured.
So the house is not exactly like accurate, but okay. The thing that is the most outrageous to me is that they literally Google translated a thing.
Wait.
Is she okay? Are you okay? Oof. Tension 4. At this point,
My poor
I'm like, she's doing it on purpose.
probably.
So basically, Villanelle comes into the house. I'm not even going to touch on how she actually found this house because like it's very complicated to find people in the rural areas in
Yeah, I don't
Europe.
think it's on Google Maps,
But
so yeah.
okay. Sure. Okay. She comes into the house that it's for some reason it's
Open?
open for some reason. She comes into the house, into the kitchen immediately, sees a picture on the fridge, picks up the picture, and at the bottom on the right it says mumia. What they did is basically they took the word mommy, meaning mother, but in like a cutesy way, right? In
Yeah.
a sweet way. They put it into Google Translate and they translated it to mommy, mumia, but a person that has been mummified.
Oh no. Oh god.
Because mommy has two meanings in English,
Yeah.
and Google Translate gave them not the meaning that they wanted. The way I laughed the first time I saw this, and the way I laughed the second time I saw this, it's just funny because you could have fact checked. It's not that hard.
You just literally need to invert the on Google, like translate, invert
Yeah,
the question, and you can see that it's wrong. Oh, come on. The best I can say is just that they didn't particularly care. They were just
I
trying
think
to
so.
go for a
Thing
vibe
thing is,
without like
it's
being
a
accurate.
close up, and you can like it's a close up, and I'm like, the washing machine maybe people won't notice, the fringe won't notice, the structure of the building won't notice, but this, and it's like a close up of the word, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so funny to me.
I do have a bit of a generic question, not
Okay.
necessarily like not like specific to Russia, just in general, like everybody.
Hmm.
Do people actually have pictures of themselves at home? Like for instance,
Photographs?
like for like you in your apartment, would you have like pictures of yourself in your
No,
apartment?
no.
That I keep seeing that, like I get it when they were like trying to indicate whose apartment this is or whose house it is, but it's just like we don't have individual pictures of anybody here. like
We
uh
neither.
at most, and it's like when like one of my cousins
My
or something.
parents have, but it's only pictures of me, which is weird.
No, yeah, I get it. Like when you have pictures of family members, but like you actively deciding to put pictures of yourself at your home feels weird, especially like portraits. Usually we do that with people that are dead. Like if you walk into a house and you see like a single picture of a single person, usually like 90%
They're
of the
dead,
time
yeah.
the person is dead. So or it's just like, for instance, I don't know, that is my daughter that lives in, I don't know, Germany, that
Yeah, yeah,
moved
yeah.
away or like went to Canada or something, and that you have like the single picture. But like as a common practice to like have pictures of yourself at home.
I don't think many people print pictures in general these days.
Yeah, it's just that
So,
the only pictures in this house are uh there's the pictures of my dog is working.
okay.
There's the pictures of like my grandparents and family members that are gone, like they're all dead. And we have like my parents have pictures of uh like the two of them together. My mom has one, my dad has another one. Um, and a few pictures of my siblings, and that's it. But we're like usually not alone in these pictures, so it's just a little confusing to me uh to see like people with portraits of
Separate,
themselves.
yeah,
Yes.
portraits. That's so true. What the heck put text of themselves up? Like, what's what a mirror is for? I mean, some people have themselves as wallpaper for their phones, like screen pictures.
Yeah.
What's going on? Um, and
Yeah.
I
The
guess
downside of the
I always said that people that have themselves on their phone as a screen picture are
yeah.
self-involved. But that's a lot of people actually. A lot of
Yeah,
people have themselves on their
I
phone.
like I did hear like a single valid argument about it. It was the somebody that says people are very like uh, there's a lot of stolen things here.
Oh,
So
okay.
usually she's like, I keep my face there. So in case like somebody asks, like, is that your phone? Yes, it is.
Oh, that makes sense actually.
That
That's
is
the
like the
only
only
reason.
valid, yeah, it's the only valid argument I've heard about that. Because, no, having my face, why would I need to see my face all the time? Uh, I usually have, um, whatever TV show or something I'm watching or book I'm reading, I get
I have
a
my cat.
oh cats.
So basically, she comes into the house. We're going to pass on to something else. The Mumia
Yeah,
thing killed me. So basically, she comes into the house, realizes that it's the right house, and this girlfriend of, I think it's a cousin or someone. Okay, I'm yet to figure out
it
who
didn't
this guy is.
explain who that guy
Yeah,
was.
I feel like someone from the family probably.
I think it might be the son of the man
Of
that she married,
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that
and
actually
and
makes sense.
and he's the half brother of the little kid that is also Villanelle's half brother.
Okay, yeah, that actually makes a lot of
And
sense.
then there is Villanelle's brother that is
Brother,
just like the son of
yeah.
the woman.
So the girl comes into the house, this the girlfriend of this other guy. I don't remember his name. Anyway, she comes into the house, completely ignores her, like doesn't even see her. I loved the banter between her and her boyfriend. Seemed very Russianist, very like authentic. Also loved the way they were dressed, like tracksuit. Yes, very that. But the thing that bothers me, and I understand why they did this. Who the fuck knows English in a rural Russian village?
I
Why
was thinking of him
every single person they met just knew English. Just knew it.
because yeah, and for instance, here like I live on the border, and I still like I was the one of 10 people that knew English in my school. And we live literally like an hour from Texas or less. It's just like with like a 20-30 minute drive to Texas.
Mhm.
And still, like, no one here knows like much English. There's a lot of people, but like it's not uh common for people to know it. Like in my school, I was like one of 10 people that knew English, like well enough to like speak and everything.
Thing is, some people in Moscow that you would expect them to know English because it's like the capital and we have a lot of tourists and English is actually a part of the curriculum. Like it's not something you can not learn, but a lot of people still don't know it very well. And you're telling me some Nadezhda, the lady that was cooking in this rural cafe, restaurant, whatever, knows English somehow?
Yeah.
Please. She's also older, and I'm like, no, that's a no. Like I would believe that the little child, the boy, knows a little English, but other people, I doubt it. I doubt it
Yeah.
very much. So, like, it was definitely for convenience because they didn't want to make uh, the actress talk or the
Yeah.
actress learn lines in Russian because she had to be fluent in them, and we know that doesn't always sound very good.
Yeah.
So basically, they decide to make them all speak in English. The most bizarre, let's be honest, the most bizarre scene in this episode is them singing a song. I suspect it's by
Elton John is
Elton
just a
John.
crocodile rock or something like
They all know the words. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Are you playing? Like, what is going on? This is
that. It
this is
felt
such nonsense.
it very much felt like typical American family, but Russian version.
Yeah, they
And
literally,
like Russian version.
yeah, they leaned a little bit into the whole American South with the guns. I laughed and cried. It's really hard to obtain a gun in Russia. It's hard. People that have guns are people that are on the force or have connections to the force somehow. Most people don't have guns. If the usual person, like if the regular person has a gun, you bet it's not a real gun. As in like it's a pneumatic, what it's called, like the one that doesn't have actual bullets.
Yeah.
It's like
With pellets and stuff.
yeah. So I'm
I
like,
don't know. BB gun, I think they're called.
I don't know, but the fact that they showed like an
A shooting
aiming,
range.
yeah,
Yeah.
shooting range, and people are shooting guns, I was like, okay,
Oh
this
man.
is something something
I
that I don't recognize. Like,
I immediately knew like this was going to be like what they do with Mexico, that they just put the same sepia filter with chickens running around and stuck in the 70s forever, that vaguely looks like Cuba but not Cuba. That stuff I knew was the same thing for you. It was going to be just like not at all the
the
truth.
guns, they were just flabbergasting to me. Like,
I don't know. Maybe they
just
saw John Wick and thought, "Oh, Russians have
thing
guns."
is, most people, most Russian people had not even seen a gun in real life. Most, as in like 95%, maybe 98% of people never seen a gun in a real life. Maybe at a museum,
Yeah.
like at a like antique looking guns stuff. I held a gun once, but it was not a real gun. And I shoot a gun once in the forest into the like cans, but it wasn't a real gun. It wasn't a gun with bullets. So I'm like,
Oh, I have a story about that. Um,
but
I
the
think.
girl that owned the gun was on the force. She was
Oh,
actually not even on the force. She was like, oh, what is called? Like a driver of emergency car, like a van that brings you to the hospital. Why
an
am I
ambulance?
looking at this? Yeah, an ambulance. I was like, the word is ambulance. I was thinking for so long. Yeah, she was an ambulance
Okay.
driver, and
Um,
I think it was a work gun or something. Like maybe they have those, like not real ones for situations. Because thing is, people here sometimes people don't call the police; they call the ambulance, as in like yeah, it's like a common thing. Especially they hear distress noises, like if
oh yeah.
since it's common that like it's a common thing. Every like single person that I know knows a woman in an abusive relationship. It's like
Mm,
a thing. People know about
yeah.
this. So when people hear like screaming and stuff, they assume that it's like her husband got drunk and he's beating her up. Let's call the ambulance, not the police. Also, the ambulance actually comes in time, and the police doesn't come in time. So
Mm.
people call it police often, and sometimes they're called in into dangerous situations. So I guess that's why they have
Oh,
those types of
interesting.
guns. Um, I don't like that. Okay, plot twist: they are a family of Texan spies. I would believe that actually. Who
Yes,
got stuck here in the 80s and tried to integrate into the local area, but just aren't right.
that would be a good plot twist.
That's a really good theory. I would actually post it on Tumblr because it would be really popular.
It would work definitely.
And
Oh,
it works.
here with guns, just like uh, you hear gunshots all the time, like all the time, here in this city specifically, because like crime, and usually just like people in like farms and stuff have guns and stuff. But there's this time where we have military forces here
Mhm.
because the crime was like that bad that they had to bring actual soldiers. So the soldiers are still around. We have them like on the border and patrolling around. Sometimes they stop. It's very interesting to see them go shopping. They go
Mhm.
shopping with guns, like the full rifles and everything, and it's a thing. Most people just like wait
Why?
for them to like because they can get caught. They have been caught uh, at stores, and there's a shootout, and they get killed if they're not prepared in to act quickly. There's been a couple of instances of that. There's they're usually there are three trucks driving together. Um, and again, if there's one that it's by itself, like it gets separated or whatever, they go after them. It's a mess. So for school, in high school, I think it was high school, college, high school. They took us to the military base here, and I climbed up in the armored trucks. They have this huge, almost like a tank that they drive around the city. It's super heavy, it's super uncomfortable inside. My respects, that shit is uncomfortable. I hit my head on the steel reinforced wall. Not fun, but it didn't hurt much. They let us get into the armored trucks, and they have this like big gun on top, just like a tank, kind of. And it was they let us hold it and everything. It's just like, oh, there's no bullets in there. You can just grab it. it's fine. And we saw like the services, the truck for the disasters in case of disaster. It's one that can like be almost completely underwater. Very cool, fun stuff. And then they took us to a table that there were all the guns that they have from the smallest to the biggest one. So we were just uh, holding the guns and everything for the weight. And it was just like, oh, cool. And the handgun and everything.
Rifle.
It's, yeah, a rifle, a shotgun, um, the automatic rifles. And then they had this huge one that is like 50 millimeter caliber or something like that. It's just like it has bullets like this fucking big and like this thick. That
What
shit
do
is
you
like
need this?
almost like a cannon.
What do you need this shit for?
Oh, they do need it. They do need it. Because the guys that
Are you shooting elephants? What is going on?
they have reinforced cars here.
Oh.
The crime stuff. They do have like reinforced, and this one is like the quickest way to end the fighting. They actually told us a night there's like a fenced off area where they have confiscated vehicles. Uh, some were very still kind of gruesome. It's kind of stinky, and there was one that he kept catching our attention from the distance. It had like somebody um I forgot the word, like fused with metal, a big like turret, and it was like bulletproof, so they could
Okay.
like get in there and shoot. These guys, the militaries, were telling the story like laughing a lot and saying that um they used that in they used some guys that were fighting were using that truck, and there was a guy inside. It was like a capsule to shoot at them, and it was really fucking hot, and the dumbasses painted that shit black. So the guy was cooking inside. So they kind of completely like got rid of the guys that were driving the truck. That guy was in there alone, and they were just patiently waiting in the
For him to
heat
come out?
for him to come out. And they were just he didn't. He kind
Oh,
of
he
just like
cooked.
yeah, he expired in there. And they were just telling
Oh.
that to a bunch of high school kids, and we were just like, fun times. And they actually let us try to. There was me
Get inside?
and some of the other guys that were daring us to try and carry the heaviest gun that they have is that rifle that has like the huge bullets. So we were trying to lift it, and me being me tried to lift that shit, and I did it. Thankfully I did it over the table because I managed to lift it like up to my chest. And they were like, oh my god, let me take pictures, let me take pictures. And they were like, don't. And I just put it down, and I nearly, it has 3 legs. Oh, your hair is stuck? Oh no.
I wanted to do it in a very elegant way, but I failed somehow.
It happens. Oh, so I was trying to like lift the thing, and it has
Uh-huh.
like 3 legs to stand on. And I missed one of the legs, so that
Okay.
shit nearly fell on my foot, but it didn't. I survived. I put it correctly.
So that's a win.
Yes. And I
Technically.
got to hold real guns and also see cars with people died. Fun times.
I mean, hardly an
That high school,
accomplishment.
that high school was wild. That's where they show us like they brought human specimens of like livers, a lung, and they
Oh,
also one of my teachers was he worked like in a morgue. So he's like, oh, kids, you have to learn medicine for this like semester. So here's an actual video of an autopsy, and we were just like, okay, fun
Uh,
times.
we have this popular attraction in St. Petersburg. It's called Kunstkamera, and basically it has all the weird human like anomalies
Mm.
or animal anomalies and like suspended in like some kind of a liquid,
Formaldehyde.
probably formaldehyde. Um, and it's a weird time. People go there with kids. Unpleasant.
Yeah, they have those here, but not like a formal like actual building or anything. It's part of the attractions of like local like fairs. It's just like, oh, you have the Hall of Mirrors, you have somebody throwing knives, you have the roller coaster and everything. Oh, also there's weird dead animals in there. Just excuse me, come again. Oh yes, there's this uh they're like taxidermy. They're not in liquid. It's
Mm.
taxidermy what they put there. It's just I what was it? I was very little when I saw that. I was just what like 7 something. 6 maybe. There was a snake with 2 heads,
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah, stuff like that.
pig with I think a fish head. I don't know. It's weird.
Um, Siamese twins, people
Yeah.
that are connected to
The
each
ones
other,
that showed here were like
tissue.
clearly fake, but yeah.
So basically, she meets the family, uh, sees Fyodor. Fyodor is her actual brother. I mean, they're all like step brothers or something, and this one is her blood brother. They have the same father and mother.
Yeah.
Fyodor is interesting. Also, like there are two characters that are interesting to me in this episode: Fyodor and her mom. I think her name is Natalia. Yeah, I think it's Natalia. So basically, uh, she meets Fyodor.
Tatiana, was it?
Tatiana.
I think
Oh, okay, maybe Tatiana. I mean, they're
they
both
only
Russian
said the
names.
name I think once.
Okay, yeah, the guy says her name once in the garden when he talks about her. Yeah, I think it's Tatiana. So basically, they're like, Fyodor is shocked that she's alive because they've been told that she's dead, and also she was told that they're dead. So it's kind of like interesting. It's interesting to think how they find people for the 12.
Yeah,
Um, and also, I'm pretty sure that Tatiana knew that Villanelle is alive. Maybe she was even paid to give her away.
probably.
That's my working theory. Anyway, Fedor is shocked. He hugs her. They start talking. Whatever. It's not interesting. Then Tatiana comes and she sees Villanelle and pretends that she's shocked to see her. She's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, my baby," etc., etc. Thing is, it's immediately apparent that Villanelle is surprised by her actions, that she's not expecting her mother to be kind, caring, and to give a shit about her in general. What is kind of like story wise isn't realistic to me is that this whole time we were led to believe that she doesn't remember her family much or doesn't like why I think this? Because when she talked about her family before, it seemed very impersonal. It's as if she's like we were led to believe that she was an orphan for a long time and she didn't really know her family.
She
You know what I
she
mean?
did mention I think she only mentioned her mom once or twice before, and she clearly has mommy issues. And given her violent behavior and everything, like what happened with Anna's husband, you almost think like, oh my god, maybe something really, really fucking bad happened, and that's why she's like this. And their reality is like not as bad or something. Like they try to
Mm,
show you like at least there's nothing there that implies that the mother was violent to
I
them.
think she was,
Neglectful and abusive emotionally, yes,
yeah,
but
she
not
was
like
neglectful.
physical.
I think she was
Um,
also like, I don't know. She was,
she seems.
she says that she was cruel a lot, and we get to see that part of her. She's like, this type of parent that is like very proper and very, seems to be very sweet in the public, but actually when you get them on their own in their family, they're actually very nasty. As in, like, I'm sure she didn't do anything to 𝕊𝕂 physically because it was not discussed.
What I could see, like, because Venonel says you're just like me. Uh, Not exactly. I'm not sure. Her mother does seem like a textbook like narcissist. Like
Yes.
everything is about her, and if um, like what she said to the boy, it's just like you are a failure. You embarrassed the family. You embarrassed me.
Hmm.
Everything is about her.
Hmm.
So when people like that, for instance, people like that shouldn't really have kids. It's just the fucking worst. Because everything is about them. They see their children as an extension of themselves, not
Hmm.
as people. So if you question their parenting, it's just like it's an attack to me. If
Hmm.
you question their um, something that is happening to their children, it's about them. Everything is about them, and you can see it clearly here that she was competing for the father's affection. It's just like she wanted her husband to herself, but Villanelle
Yeah.
was just like very close to her dad, and she resented her for it. It's just like she always saw her daughter as like a competition.
A competitor, yeah.
Yes, and the boy, she didn't see the boy as a threat. That's why she took him back.
Thing
And
is, Fyodor kind of has aggression issues that we don't
yeah,
really talk about because we see him because when Villanelle enters the barn, we see him just hacking into that sofa.
yeah. And he does seem that's actually one of the questions that I had is just not a question, it's just like wondering. I wonder if they're going to come back.
I
The
hope not.
brother and the half brother, because she left them enough money, and
Let's
I'm
talk
not
about the
sure.
money because I was like, first of all, the money does look. I mean, it doesn't look legit. It looks similar to. It looks fake a little bit, but it is 500 rubles. They were. It was a stack of 500 rubles, like a bunch of 500. Thing is, 500 is not the biggest uh,
Amount.
amount that you can get in like paper form. I would expect her to give them 5,000
Mm.
rubles, like, because 500. Like, how many 500s she had there? Was it like 40 500s, which is, just so you understand, 40. I can't do this without the calculator.
Yeah, numbers and I are not
It's
friends.
just 20,000. Just so you understand, 20,000 rubles is nothing. As in, like, I mean, it's not nothing, nothing, but it's like, in Moscow, it's like the lowest salary that you can get. In like a village, it's maybe like a pretty good salary, because in rural areas they get smaller salaries. So it's like 20. So she, if it's 4,500, it's nothing. It's like a monthly payment, and then what? You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
1 million rubles.
In
Also,
general,
the little boy wouldn't be able to afford
a
tickets to
concert,
US, yes, with those monies.
they just trying to like grab a stack of like bills that looked vaguely Russian and just go with that.
Yeah, I
I don't
was kind
think
of
they really
surprised that
thought
it
it
was
through.
500.
There
It
is,
wasn't even 1,000.
yeah.
It was
It
500.
in general that entire episode feels very like last minute made, uh, kind of patched together.
Let's write a backstory very quickly.
Yeah, and it really doesn't work because they could have explained that a lot better with flashbacks of when she was young, like show not
Yes,
tell, because
yes.
everything that we are shown is not very good.
It
Not
didn't
much.
need a separate. It didn't need a separate
If they wanted to make a
episode.
separate episode, they should have gone like with flashbacks up into present time and then leave like 20 uh oh, I see.
From 20K rubles. Yeah, can't buy yourself a new life with the amount of money. Yes.
Oh god. Again,
So
they
it
probably
was a bit
grab a
laughable to
stack
me.
of those like props and just put them in an envelope and make it seem
Yeah.
flashy. Um what else? Oh yeah. They could have made a list of like flashbacks. Like first 15 minutes you could like put Villanelle as a kid. They could have shown a little bit of her with her dad, her little brother, then when she was abandoned, maybe a flash of her in the orphanage. Maybe the most damage she got was the orphanage, like things that happened and stuff.
Maybe also a scene with
Dasha,
Dasha. Yeah.
yeah, because
To
Dasha
tie
does
it
mention
together.
in the episode like I broke her and make her something new. So
Yeah.
they could have shown that most of her like personality and everything comes from Dasha. Uh, like she was molded more by her than anybody else, and they could have shown that in flashes of like what, uh, 3 4 minutes, and that would have done a lot more to explain her whole history if they wanted really to get into that, and then leave at the end that scene when she talks to her mom, and then everything else. That entire episode could have been chopped into like smaller, more useful pieces of information rather than just be there and have everything like told to you. Because again,
Yeah.
we get the story from a lot of like unreliable narrators because Villanelle doesn't remember very well. Her brother doesn't remember at all. Her mother is a liar. The new husband doesn't really know her. It's just like you're getting bits and stuff that don't really matter at all. Like that scene, that was very ridiculous. That scene where the that guy and the girlfriend are watching like a documentary or something, and they're talking about the Earth being flat and the lizard people. Like, what the fucking
First of
purpose is
all,
that?
this is a very famous conspiracy theory that is very popular in US.
I
And it's
know.
not popular here at all. It doesn't have any traction here. Like the most popular conspiracy theories in Russia, they could have just switched on a Russian channel. There is a channel, it's called Ren TV, and it's constantly on its conspiracy theories bullshit. The popular conspiracy theories in Russia, the pyramids were not built by people; they were built by aliens.
Aliens? Yeah.
Um, the snowmen exist, like you know,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know who snowmen are. Um, What else? I mean, that's like the supernatural stuff. People are
Yeah.
into the supernatural stuff, not flat Earth. Like no one believes in flat Earth.
Same. Like here, the most we have like for conspiracy theories are um like cryptids and like ghosts and what else? Aliens. Uh, and that's it. There were like quite a few people going on about the pandemic, but aside from that, who the fuck? Just boring Americans believe in flat Earth. I want to believe
Uh, I
that
never
is
met a
just like
person who
I want
believes
to
in
believe
that.
there's just like that
I
small
never met
demographic and that
a
not
person.
everybody believes that.
People
Oh
are more like people are really more into aliens here, and you know, like the supernatural stuff, and also into like prophets, as in like Van Gogh is very popular because Van Gogh
yeah.
is like, you know who the Van Gogh is, or probably not. Van Gogh is like this Eastern European uh, older lady. She lost her sight,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, so
Oh,
basically
there's
some people believe in that.
me, my mom, and my brother love watching videos that are about like creepy things. So there's just like, oh, somebody saw a monster here. This person has prophecies. In 1970, aliens were stationed here, and uh, hundreds and hundreds of ghost videos. We can spend entire afternoons watching ghost videos. So uh, we do know on the surface level about most conspiracy theories, but we do have a few that like stories that come from Russia, but again, it's just uh about aliens, about a city that doesn't exist, um an abandoned city that is emitting like radio signals,
There's some people
and
here that are like they're like against um like the the domineering the dominant religion, so they're like, let's get back to the old gods, and they want to move to Sibir and sustain themselves without the government, which is like, this is its own brand of crazy to me. They also want virginal brides and to not use contraceptives or medicine. So that is the batshit crazy of like the population. Um, I knew a guy like that. He married my friend, and we lost her completely. Um, yeah, so they actually never moved to Sibir, and they don't have children. They live with his parents, which is honestly not surprising at all. Um, yeah. So like there is this brand of batshit crazy, and I think every single country has this batshit
I
crazy,
do
but
have to
it is
ask,
a different flavor.
there was a story about a town, I think by the sea, or like some sort of like body of water, that a lot of, what were they, like pieces of people washed up on the shore, like fingers or teeth or something like that.
I don't know about that.
But they say it wasn't like in Russia. It was just,
I mean, Russia's huge, so I
I
cannot know
know, yeah,
every
it's
single
it's it's
thing.
humongous.
But I mean, okay, I can Google it if you want to.
Yeah,
The thing is, like,
that people were disappearing and then pieces showed up or something like that. I don't know. I watched that video ages ago.
I bet
But
someone
it's
just
again,
killed them.
it's a lot of like fake stories or like very
I think
dramatized
so.
stories to scare people.
Um, there is like people constantly talking about like Stonehenge type of buildings, like um from the Russian that came before the Christianity, so pre-Christianity Russians. It's like these types of buildings, but I'm like, okay, this they're just stones. Um, like there is like a black pyramid somewhere in Russia, which is like, I mean, okay, probably was some kind of a religious building or just a building. People love to pick things apart, and I'm like, people just used it for a toilet at some point, and you were trying to like make it into something that it isn't, clearly.
So that was, it was very funny that they brought up the flat Earth on the
The
episode.
flat Earth is
They
like,
were
oh
just
my
trying to
god.
be. They were
They
just trying
just
to be
wanted to
funny, I
allude to
guess.
the 12 because it's funny that Villanelle is a part of the 12, and these two guys are like,
There is an
oh,
organization that rules
there's
the
an
world,
yeah.
and
They
they're
just wanted to
lizards.
talk about that, and they're lizards, yes. Also, once
I would
again,
prefer at this point. I would prefer that they were actually lizard people
listen,
than the boring
if,
generic shit.
if they are lizard people, I'm giving the season 5 out of 5. If they're going to do that, I'm into that.
Yes, go fucking wild. This is your last season. Bring the lizard
Also,
people.
once again, picky and choosy about what is modern and what is not. This old as fuck TV is old somehow, but the fridge is new. Like, okay. Can buy Sonia life with that amount of money. She dug around her pocket change and gave it to her two brothers, being a hit woman piece. Really good, around 5k USD per head. Villanelle is just a cheap bitch. She just doesn't like kids, and we knew that. It's actually in character.
Yeah.
And more she kills important people. Her jacket costs more than 250 USD dollars. Uh, it's sometimes 10. That amount depends on the country. That's just too funny if you imagine she did it on purpose. I mean, we can theorize that she did it on purpose just for laughs because otherwise it's just stupid. So, I mean, I guess she was just like, I don't really like you, but here, have some of my pennies that I have in my.
It's just the change that I had at like the bottom of my bag. I
Yeah, it's
guess
just some money
also
that I exchanged.
the outfits that she had this like
A,
entire
an
episode
actual
atrocious,
crime. A
except
crime.
the black jacket and the when she just had like pants and a black jacket. That actually looked good. It was like
I
around the middle of
mean,
the episode.
the outfit that she came in for, like this, the top was very flattering. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I liked about it.
But it was so weird to watch her like walk around with the backpack and the headphones in like a student. It was
Mm.
just very weird. It gave me first day in college vibes. Weird.
Let's talk about casual cruelty of Tatiana, because she is one of those, like, she's casually cruel, and I think that's how Villanelle is similar to her. Also, both Villanelle and Tatiana are narcissists, and they care about them only about themselves.
Yeah.
The first sign is Tatiana comes down the stairs and is like, I what's the past tense of soon? Basically, she
She
remade,
fixed. Yeah.
she remade her outfit to the size, to the Villanelle size for her to wear, which is why, but okay. Thing is, she's immediately, oh, it's not your size, and it's kind of like veers into the territory of, oh, you're fatter than I expected, or something like
Yeah.
that. This has something to do with that. The second sign is she denies every single thing that Villanelle says, and every single thing Villanelle accuses her for, about leaving her in the orphanage, not coming back for her, why she decided to choose her and not Fyodor. She has an explanation for everything, and it's kind of not an explanation, it's an excuse every single time.
Yeah.
Then Villanelle hears about how she talked with the little guy. I don't remember his name. Like how
It's
she
just
told
that
him that
on
he
the surface,
embarrassed her.
yeah, on the surface they tried to make it like, oh, she's actually a good or decent person, or she changed, or shit like that. And Villanelle wasn't buying it, and at first it does seem like, oh, maybe she's just wary because of what happened, like of her history. But she had very good reason to be wary because that shit was just an act. And the thing about being raised by somebody like that is that you are so like dedicated to searching for the good moments, and you appreciate the good moments, that when the person acts back badly, it's just like either I deserve that, you acting like that, or it's just how it is. Like that kid doesn't really have any many outside models about that. And Villanelle's brother was raised by her as well, so they just kind of take it as it is. It's just
Yep.
like, oh, she's like that. And most people raised by narcissists like that are just like used to sensing like the mood of the person is just like, okay, she's going to tell me something horrible. Okay, just I'm just gonna listen to it, and that's that. And the boy was so little that of course he believes what she says. And the first sign was like that something was really up was like the boy hitting himself on the wall. It's
Mm.
just like that is not exactly very common reactions, specifically for a child like that, and like it doesn't really match the rest of his behavior. So that was already like red flags raising up slowly, bit by bit. And it was that moment where when Villanelle finally like heard the boy told her what the mom said, she realized that, oh, she didn't change at all. She's just like the same.
Mhm.
And she still tried to give like
The benefit of the doubt. She's like,
yeah,
she still tried to have a conversation at least.
yeah. And at first she was trying to be playful and ridiculous, and like she always is. Uh but her mother is just, I think it hurts more sometimes when somebody says something horrible to you in a very like sweet and calm tone
Loving way.
instead of
Hmm.
instead of yelling. Because when somebody yells something horrible at you, you can just go like, "Oh, they're just saying this because they're angry." When somebody uses that sweet tone with you, it's just like, "Oh shit, they actually think like this, or they mean what they're saying." So it
What
cuts
was
deeper, I guess.
interesting for me in this conversation is just um, how unwilling Tatiana is to admit her faults.
Yeah,
She's like, just go away. She's like, she doesn't want to confront what she's done. So she's like, you're going, the subtext was, you're going to ruin this whole new thing that I've built for myself.
yeah,
So fuck you, go away. And I'm interested about Villanelle's motivation here because she came for something, either to close the chapter off, to confront it, or she, I don't know, she wanted a new life. Like, I don't get it. Because what's also interesting, like, there is this sentence that she says at some point, I don't remember with whom, but someone asked her why she came to see them or something, and she said, I had the hiccups. And I was like, did they put it in intentionally? Because actually it's a cultural reference. So I think they put it in intentionally or not. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just going to share the cultural reference. So basically here it's and in a lot of Slavic cultures, um when the person hiccups, it means, I mean, it doesn't mean, but people say that it means that someone thinks of them in that moment.
yeah,
So I was like, she said, I had the hiccups. Does it mean that the screenwriters knew about this reference and were like, so her family was thinking about her, or rather, she thought that her family is thinking about her. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either because this feels like a very forced attempt at developing her character,
Hmm.
because they really softened Villanelle a lot this season. It seems she seems unstable. but not unhinged like before. They kind of drifted away from that whole idea that she is a psychopath into something different, because they did try to make her more
Yeah,
humane in this
they
one.
were going for the whole she's just damaged kind of
Yes.
angle. Like she didn't have
So,
the best childhood.
but again, is I like with what I was reading, like all those backstories of psychopaths. Usually psychopaths have a more extreme childhood of like physical abuse, emotional abuse. Uh, it just doesn't really add up to her being that extremely violent
Mhm.
when her upbringing wasn't violent at all. Like, for what we could tell, there was no violence at home.
Just casual cruelty,
Yes, it's just like,
neglect.
oh, your mother was an asshole, but she wasn't even there for long. She was what, 7, 10 when she was away, when she was put in like in the
Well,
orphanage.
she was of an age where she remembered stuff because she remembers a lot from her childhood
Yeah. The
somehow.
last photographs there were like, yeah, 6 years old, and she seemed to have a very nice, because her brother only remembered like a very nice life.
Things.
Yeah,
Thing
so
is, it was
if they
nice on
wanted,
the outside, I think.
yeah,
On
but
the
again, it
inside,
doesn't really justify her behavior in the future, unless they really, if they wanted to explain why Villanelle is like she is, then her mother wasn't really the answer to that. It would have been Dasha or the
thing is,
orphanage.
I think they touch a bit on that. They kind of talk about the darkness and how they're similar. I think they're not telling us that it's something that she developed because of her childhood. It's more of like she always was that like this.
Yeah,
Because we get the hint that she was also pretty violent when she was a child because she beat up Further a lot.
yeah,
Uh, and seeing her now, she's also pretty like casually cruel. Like she says things that are rude and
yeah.
nasty all the time.
But again, it's just that whole episode feels like a very forced attempt to like
They could have
character
gone. They
development.
could have gone with just flashbacks, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, and be selective about the flashbacks, because
Yeah,
have this episode is completely useless. It's
yeah.
just
I also believe so. In France, we say that someone is thinking about you if you essentially bite your tongue. Okay.
in Mexico is if you're oh, it depends. If your ears randomly get warm and start like getting hot, it's because somebody's talking shit about you.
Oh, okay.
And if someone oh, if you start sneezing, it's just like, oh yeah, somebody remembered you.
Mm.
That's that. And then we have another one. Oh, if you forget someone's name often, it's because that person is very cheap. So,
Okay, that's
so yeah,
unrelated completely.
I
Maybe
know
you
it's
just have
lovely.
bad memory.
It's just like, oh yeah, what is the name of that politician? Or what is the name of that of
Oh, got it.
your uncle's best friend from high school?
Yeah,
What was
okay.
his name? It's like, I can't remember. Like, yeah, me neither. He must be very cheap. It's just,
Funny.
yeah,
Do you
sometimes.
only remember people if they give you money?
maybe maybe
Probably.
that's it. Oh, there's also something about being cheap that relates to your elbows. I can't really explain that.
There's something related to like if you I think if you're right hand or like I don't remember which hand exactly, like palm, if it's if you scratch it because it's like itchy, it means that you're going to get drunk. And I'm like, wow,
Oh, here it's like
just
you're
an
going to get
excuse to
money.
get drunk.
Here it's like, oh, your hand is itchy. Oh, you're going to receive money soon. So
The priorities are clearly
on the
explained.
cash.
Yeah, in our culture, it's just getting drunk. In your apparently, it's just cash. So basically what happens, they talk about the darkness. I think they actually want to go with the darkness as an innate thing that they're born with.
Yeah.
And then she tells her, Villanelle tells her mother that she needs to murder her. That's the answer. I'm like, okay, so you're like closing the
Kind
chapter
of
off by
already.
murdering the person who's.
Yeah, we already established that Villanelle doesn't deal with people, just kills them. So
Also,
that
interestingly
was
enough,
pretty unfair.
she kills the stepdad and the
Other
uh
two.
the other two as well. She only saves Frodo and the little guy.
Um, like it was, I don't know, it didn't really matter at all. But in retrospect, it was just like, oh, come on, the stepdad didn't do anything, and the other two are just stupid. They don't
Yeah,
deserve to
I
die.
mean, it's one buck wild episode in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like it's so buck wild, especially knowing all the stuff that I've told you about the whole Russian-esque setting. It's buck wild. Um, should we talk about the Eve's storyline? Move on to that
yeah.
because plot holes everywhere. She comes to the bitter pill. First of all, she is in the hospital with Nico. Nico's throat was pierced and now he cannot talk. He is alive.
I could have
We could even
sworn he had
say
died.
almost thriving, we can say after that
Yeah,
kind of injury, but he can't speak. Not sure if he would be able to speak later or no. We are not told the details. Um,
I kind of hope he's not back for season 4, but most likely
please
he will.
let's just
Leave that
leave him
man alone.
behind. Leave this man alone. He suffered enough. Thing is, we see an older guy that apparently is Nico's father,
Yeah,
and he has a bit of a tiff with Eve. He's like, I never liked you. And I'm like, this is such a dad thing to say, or rather a mom thing to say. And I'm like,
yeah,
I never liked you. You're always a mess. And I'm like, I'm interested to see how she was and what was about that woman
yeah.
that gave off the vibe that she's a mess. So she sits with Nico, starts talking to him. She says that she's going to find the person that is responsible. And Nico is the king of brevity. He was like, literally told her to fuck off forever. And she was shocked. I'm like, Miss Ma'am, did you expect him to what? To say, I'm taking you back, we're going to restore our marriage, we're going to go to the family therapist. Like, what did you expect? This
I,
man was fed up with you for the longest time. I do not hear you, you know that?
oh, sorry. I just press it and it like
I
presses
forgot
again
about it.
twice. Okay. So, I just don't get her, like,
Clinging to him
why
so
is
much?
she there? Why is she clinging to him when she was already like done with him
I
before?
think it's like, it's just
Guilt?
it's what she knows. It's the safety net. She wants to be normal, you
I
know?
guess. But you can be normal with someone else. It's not like she has a shortage of people interested in her. I would have preferred that she moved on
After,
to that bitter pill guy.
yeah, then with
That would have made more
Nico.
sense to me than, and it would have made the character like more meaningful
More
because he's
interesting,
pretty much.
yeah.
So poor Neo, just let the man go. When he was in the psychiatric ward, he was already asking for a divorce. Just let the man go.
Yes.
He
So,
could have moved on.
yeah, she fucks off. Uh, not sure for how long, actually. And
Later
she
in the
goes to the
episode,
bitter pill.
yeah, later in the episode, she's just standing there like a creep, looking at him while he's sleeping. Ma'am, don't.
She goes to the bitter pill, and somehow these guys that didn't know about the 12 at all now have all this information about the 12. They know who the 12 um, accountant was. That this accountant had a wife. That this wife died recently.
Yeah.
That Villanelle was probably there or no. Like, I'm like, how do you all have this type of information right now? Like, this is such a
They're
loophole.
experts now. They're the
Like,
experts now.
I'm not buying it, like, at all.
No, it's
So then
just
it's
again
convenient for the
the
plot.
the entirety of the bitter pill thing. It's utterly useless to me because all of this could have been done with the what we had before of like a special team dedicated to that with
They just wanted to separate Kenny and Carolyn.
yeah.
So,
And
um,
I don't know, I
he
guess to
could have
like try and
he
make
could
it
have
more
been at
sense.
he could have been at his house doing this.
Yeah.
But okay, all right. So, plot wise, Eve just needed some hope that Villanelle was not the one that did this. Uh, so she starts investigating, and they even tell her about Dasha, and I'm like, how did you know all this? She goes to Carolyn to ask about Dasha. Carolyn is in her honestly best onliners. She's very dry but very funny. Tells her about Dasha and how apparently Dasha was booted away, booted out, booted out Russia because she killed someone in the special forces because
Yeah.
she was um, recruited after the kill into special forces and KGB, and she worked for KGB. So she killed someone in KGB and moved
The
out. Like,
12
yeah,
baker.
left Russia and traveled. Yeah, the 12 picked her up. So Eve is trying to find Dasha, and she finds her in the bowling alley in Spain. The scene was very Big Lebowski. Uh, okay.
Who paid for Eve to go there?
I don't know. She's just
How
rich
does
somehow.
how does she have now traveling expenses again?
Bitter pill, probably. Somehow
Oh,
they
because they
are.
seem very
Somehow
wealthy.
they are very. Somehow they make money. Let's say that.
Because they I had never seen them work actually
Yeah.
on something. So sure, I guess. I think at this point they don't want us to question things. It's just like just
Yeah.
vibe with
Like
it. Don't
this.
ask, just
This
vibe.
whole episode is one big plot hole, and I'm like, how does this people do this people know about these things? Like, there's no way for them to know this. She talks to she talks to Russia. She talks to Russia. She sits down, kisses the earth, and she talks to Russia. She talks to Dasha in the bowling alley. Uh, she tells Dasha that she knows that Villanelle was not the one that tried to murder Nico. And Dasha is very aggressive and is like, so that is what Villanelle has to deal with, as in like, oh, you're so annoying and stuff. This is pretty useless. Villanelle, in the meantime, meets Helen. And this is actually a thing that I want to talk about because Helen is interesting.
Yeah.
Helen invites Villanelle to tell her the news that she's now a keeper, but her actual job description doesn't change
Change.
much.
It's
She
just
gets like an upgrade in money and stuff, but
yeah, it's
nothing else.
she says it's just like you're getting the benefits. The
Yeah.
material benefits of the job, but they're not actually giving her like the responsibilities of the job, which makes a lot more sense. It reminded me of that like TikTok audio that people is just like, oh, your cat just gets on your laptop because it's trying to like imitate you. So if you give the cat their own laptop, they will leave you alone. So it reminded me of that. They were just trying to remove her from the way. They just gave her a little laptop, just like, ma'am, have fun with that, like a little cat.
Yeah, and she's pissed off. But
Yeah.
we start with a close up of her playing with Zephyr, which was actually interesting for me. It's like a Russian sweet. I bet it's like common. It's something that other countries have as well. Probably France, because we have a lot of French sweets in Russia that were adopted into the Russian culture
What is it made of?
throughout history. It's kind of like it's marshmallowy, but it doesn't taste like marshmallow. I can't explain it. You have to taste it. I promised you that I'm going to send you something at some point. You need to give me your address. Maybe I'll send you like some sweets or something. So
Hmm.
Zephyr is like this cute, like it's very cutesy. It's very. It looks like a meringue, but it doesn't taste like a meringue. It's more like a marshmallow, but sweeter, and the texture is a bit gummy.
I'm trying
I'm
to
going
think
to
if there's something similar here.
I'm going to show you the picture because I mean, I'm not a big fan of it. There are fancier brands that do them better, but this is like a classic shape and classic.
I don't think we have something like that here. Here, everything is made with flour. We love uh,
Flour.
bread and like sweet bread and cookies. Pan dulce, iconic.
I think it's made from apple starch or something. Like it's hard.
Interesting.
Like here we
It
go.
sounds good.
Can you see this?
Yeah, I feel like I've seen them somewhere,
So
but I've never tried them. I can't remember if I've seen them here or in the US.
here how they look like when you cut into them, when you bite into them. It's like porous. Um,
Yeah, I see. Uh,
okay.
we have something like that, but it's made of what the fuck is called? Uh, dulce de leche. Pero, but
Dolce de leche is like condensed milk.
yes, there's something like that, but it's more chewy than dry.
Mm,
But it
okay.
is there is a candy that is like that, but it's based off like sweet condensed milk.
I mean, it's
Mm,
I know what you mean. It's different. It's like
mm,
a toffee kind of a
yeah,
thing. It's we have those too. It's different. This one is you know what it's from? It's from agar agar, and it's it's made with gelatin.
yeah.
So it's more like I don't know. You have to tease this kind of thing. It's like weird. It's hard to explain. So she plays with this with a piece of Zephyr, and I'm like, okay, what is going on? Where is she? Is
They're
she
trying
still
to
in
be
Russia?
more,
Is she
yeah.
still in Russia? Maybe French actually have those too. I don't know. Diane, tell me. So
It's
basically, like it looks like a French thing for some reason to me. Uh, so basically, Helen invited her into like a
like
big.
it's like this, but without
Okay.
the cookie. It's just the entire like swirly thing, and it dries out, and it's kind of like that consistency, like almost like a meringue.
Hmm.
But I can't fucking remember the name now. I'm
Never tried this kind of thing
scratching
before.
my brain. Uh, but yeah,
Uh, Helen invites her to like a big business room, as in like auditorium,
yeah,
and it's empty. And we get like a mountain of sweets. It's like she invited her for champagne or tea or something to celebrate something.
yeah.
And the vibe is weird. And Villanelle immediately picks up on it that it's weird.
Yeah, Villanelle is very unstable, but even like being that upset as she is, she noticed that it's fucking weird that there's nobody there except them.
Yeah, nobody's there.
Yeah.
And it's not even that she's outright flirting with her, is that she's like, oh, let's sit on the couch. It's like she's trying to get close to her somehow, as
Yeah.
in like to make it less of a formal business meeting. Also, I don't know if they in English, if in the English version they give you the translation of her phone call or no, but in the Russian version, as in like the version that was adapted for the Russian TV, they give you the translation of the phone call between Helen and someone she's talking to. I think the marshmallow one is German actually. The sugary one looks more French. I look up the things she eats. Okay. So basically, uh, what she talks about is actually interesting because she talks to her mom, Helen talks to her mother, about her child, about Helen's child. Her
Yeah.
child fell or something, I think fell, and hurt her or his genitalia. I couldn't really understand if it was a boy or a girl, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think it was a girl.
Hard to say. Like children have similar-ish sounding voices at that age,
Yeah.
uh, and she was like, my child like is just like attention seeking. Like it probably doesn't hurt. Just put some ice on it or put some salve on it, and she's gonna be like okay. I don't know why I use she, but okay, let's use she.
Yeah.
So she has a child actually, and a husband, and a mother. That's what we know about her.
Yeah.
Uh, so the
It's
conversation is very bizarre, and she
yeah.
doesn't seem like a very loving mother. She's like, just deal with it. Like she's just
Yeah.
attention seeking. I don't care.
Yeah,
I have
the
things to
first
deal with.
the she answers two calls, I think. The first one she's talking to her child and the child is crying, and they roughly translated the thing in on the subtitles that I have, and then the mother calls later on and she answers just like in a complete like different tone. It's just like, oh, don't listen to the child. It's just like trying to get attention.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And but completely like different. And Villanelle was just like, okay, you're not that good of a. She's just overcoming her mommy issues right now, and then there this woman daddy issue, the mommy
Yeah,
issues
yeah.
impersonated comes in, not good, and she's just nervous about
Villanelle looks
the whole
good
thing.
for once.
Yes, that outfit was
Metal
great.
metal boots with this shoulder padded suit. Loved it.
Yeah,
She actually looks very decent in this episode.
yes,
Um, the she's like immediately like, "Are you flirting with me? What's going on?" Like, and Helen was like, "I was watching you," and Vilna was like, in a sexual way. Like she was like, she's kind of trying to. I mean, I don't think she's trying to do it. It's like that's the vibe's so weird that she's like, "Are you
yeah,
trying to fuck me? What's going on? Like, what is happening?"
yes,
And Helen is like telling her when Helen told her that the job description is not going to change. Melanie is like immediately. She doesn't even hide how disappointed she is. She's like, "Why I'm doing this?" Like still, like she's very frustrated with it.
yeah,
But Helen, what's interesting about Helen is that she's not very shouty or aggressive, as in the way we're expecting an aggressive person to be.
yeah,
She's very. It's not that she's pragmatic. She's like trying to. I don't know how to explain this. She's trying to make everything. I had bosses like this before. Like trying to make something out, like trying to make like you see like a cup of tea in front of you, and she's like telling you that's actually not a cup of tea. That's a cup of coffee. or like that's not a cup at all. Like they're trying to pretend that something that you actually see is not what you actually see, so they're gaslighting you a lot.
Yeah.
Like she is
Very
that
quiet
type of
and manipulative.
yeah, she's kind of very manipulative to me, and it's interesting. Also, her nose, her profile with her nose is really hot to me. Like
Yeah.
I love a nose. I'm sorry, I was just noticing. So it's like, okay, this nose,
I
a
feel
banger.
that Helen is very much it's kind of Villanelle's type, like pushing towards her type.
Mommy, yeah.
Yes. And then so
Thing
it
is, I don't actually think so because she likes a frumpy mommy.
yeah. This is like a more strict, like a diet version of. But there's just something very not patronizing, but sort of about her, about Helen. She's commanding in a way that she has authority like a mother would. It's just like when you walk into like a parents teacher conference or something that there's a like moms and stuff there, they just have this way of like okay, they have a level of authority without acting like an authority figure.
Hmm.
Exactly. It's
Hmm.
just I get you that is there's this vibe about her. It's just that if they wanted, they she would have been a background character and you wouldn't notice. But since she's like put in front of you and she speaks with complete confidence and she seems very comfortable where she is, and even when like Villanelle is very is she's saying dumb things and she's saying she's very disappointed and she's very clearly unstable. She's like her hair is messy, she was like twitching and she's like, oh, nothing is wrong. She's like, I'm not noticing anything. Even if you like throw something at the wall, I'm not going to react to that. That kind of vibe.
Something is very like she's a very interesting character, but they didn't show us her full potential yet
Yeah.
in the season. I think she's going to be in the fourth season, so we're going to see what they're going to do with her. Is French jam cookies on her right? You can get them at the supermarket in France. Yeah, I mean the thing that she plays with, like she's playing with Zephyr, just together. Anyway, her assignment is to murder a Romanian politician.
Yeah.
First of all, um, he's too hot to be a politician. Let's be honest. Um, his Romanian was pretty okay, and she looks actually very decent in that outfit.
Yeah, I like the way they styled her hair. It looks good, like brown, dark brown.
Dummy mommy, that's what I'm thinking of, but I just
Yeah,
didn't want to say it.
but
Um,
we're all thinking about it.
so the thing that also happens is Villanelle was offered by Constantine to uh, go with him somewhere earlier in the season. She declined because she wanted the position of the keeper, since now she knows she's not going to get the position of the keeper actually. She wants to go with him. They're in
Yeah,
Russia in the stadium where Constantine's daughter is playing hockey. That stadium doesn't look Russian, but okay. Because Russian stadiums don't have flags of different countries um, just hanging around, like it's weird,
mm,
but okay. So Villanelle is being very loud. It's funny, yada yada. Actually, also looks decent in her overall.
yeah,
Um, and she begs uh, Constantine to take her. But he's like, no, I'm taking her, my daughter, and we're moving, and then I'm going to send for you. Like, they're not meringues, I'm telling you. Just Google Zephyr. Um, Google it. They are. It's literally Zephyr. It's not a meringue. So
I
what
think
I'm trying,
I heard that name, but as a person name.
yes. So basically, what happens is the Constantine daughters comes and she's like, no, Villanelle is not coming with us. And we start seeing a pattern with his daughter. She's very narcissistic as well.
Yeah.
And she was complaining about her stepdad a lot. So we're getting that storyline, which was basically very, because it's very interesting because Villanelle tries to talk with her about them going away. So she goes to her school, and we see the stepdad, who is an angel, a literal angel. He made her lunch and stuff. And I was like, okay, ma'am, you're just an asshole, apparently.
Yes.
So she talks to the little girl. They go, they skip school and go on a very dangerous ride. And Villanelle is actually a bad influence. Like, she is actually a bad influence
Yeah.
because the outcome of this ride is the finale of this episode. But we're going to get back to it.
Yeah.
Uh, the thing that also happens in this episode that is important is, let me think for a second. Something to do with what mm, some
Carolyn?
something else happened. Carolyn, what happened to Carolyn?
Yeah, Carolyn is trying to
Oh
get like
yes,
information,
there
and
were
she suspects.
two dangerous rides in this episode. It was heavy on the dangerous rides. Yeah, she meets a person that she worked with before, and he gives her information about the calls that Kenny received and whom he talked with. There is some calls from a Russian number. She figures out it's Konstantin at the end. Well, she figures out that her colleague, the annoying guy, uh, like she was,
Yeah.
that is her boss now. She figures out that he is with the 12 and she confronts him, and he actually is with the 12. So then uh she confronts Konstantin in the car. They have a very, very badass but very dangerous ride. The
Yeah.
way her muscles didn't move when she made all those, you know.
Yeah.
So
Maneuvers.
basically what's interesting is that she's like, what is going on? Like, she's trying to confront him about Kenny, but he's confessing that he's been involved with Geraldine, which is
Yeah.
like, I bet it wasn't sweet to hear that, because this guy is messing with both of your children at this point. Like, he's,
I would have killed him.
yeah, he's like, oof.
No
So,
questions asked. Just to the bottom of the river. Gone.
oh yes, looks more like Zafir. Maybe it's just international confectioner display. Maybe, I think you got me something similar when you came to London film. Yes, I got you something similar. Basically the same thing. So, they're in the car. He confesses about Geraldine. She is shell shocked. She like uh starts talking about Kenny. Why they like, she recognizes his telephone number, obviously, and he tells her that Kenny asked him if he is actually his dad. And I was like holding on to my sofa at this point because, oh my god, the drama, the
Yes.
drama. So she actually doesn't know if he is, I think. But it's an option,
It is.
which makes the whole situation even more tragic. So then, after the whole ride, she drops him in the middle of nowhere and goes back home and confronts Geraldine. Geraldine, honestly, at this point, I'm like, you decided to make her just so stereotypically, um, such a stereotypical uh empathetic lefty that at this point I'm like, oh my god, it's cringe. Like when she said that she picked up the ugly looking vegetables, I wanted to hide. Um, I just wanted to hide because
it's very much on brand. Yes.
it's embarrassing at this point, and I'm like,
Hey.
I get why you think she's annoying. She's really trying to talk to her mother, and her mother is like, oh my god, you're so fucking annoying. You're so fucking annoying. I'm going to talk to you if only if you're going to tell me about Constantine and the shit that you're up to with him. The fact that she was like, I met you when I was a child and I'm now attracted to you, old man.
Yikes.
Yikes.
And again, Geraldine seems very unnecessary to me.
I think she
I
was
don't really-
introduced. I think she was introduced for specific reasons for the plot, but also to show uh Carolyn's, like, to develop Carolyn's character a little bit, but also, like, I don't know, like, I think there were ways to do it differently. At
Yeah.
this point, we can do nothing about it. Like, but a lot of it was fluffed up. A lot of things were not necessary. Anyway, moving back to Constantine and his storyline, he comes to pick up his daughter, and he sees that his daughter gets into the car and runs her stepdaddy over, which
Jesus.
was God.
It serves to show that Irina at the end of the day is a lot more like Villanelle's own siblings. So little psycho. I would have thought that from season like the first season she was in. The first season?
Well, there were certain signs.
Yeah.
Some signs were there. She was not afraid of banding with the actual murderer and technically murdering with her.
It was, yeah, it was more at the start. I thought it was just like, oh, that's because of her dad raised her to be like prepared
Mm.
for violence, for being on the run, for stuff like that.
Mm.
And but now it's just like, oh no, she is like that. She's she's not scared because she's just like she's
Doesn't give a fuck.
kind of psychotic as well. So um damn, poor man.
Yeah,
I can't remember if he died or not.
this is also a thing that I don't remember. I think if he died, she would be sent to a colony, like for
She's
children.
she's sent somewhere on the next
Yes,
episode, but
we're going to see.
I
I
can't
don't
remember
remember.
yet if he was dead or not. Um, what else? We also got something else. I can remember.
That man was also so pure. I actually liked him from the glimpse that I saw. So I was like, okay, this is a lot.
Oh yeah, Villanelle did her job with the Russian politician,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. And it ended badly because he actually stabbed her in the arm. And I think at this point she's so defeated because she wanted something, and Eve also is alive. And like every single part of her life is such a mess now that she's feeling
yeah,
really emotional. And that part where she, like, just in the bathroom crying on the floor, uh,
very emotional. Yeah,
emotional stuff. Yeah,
it's just like
deep stuff. So,
yeah.
like,
It's that she seems I think even more than before. This is the first time we actually see her like really hopeless and kind of
broken down. Like, we
yeah.
saw her crying when Eve didn't come to the crime.
Yeah, but that felt more like a crisis, like a
Yeah.
temporary thing. and she discovers she has emotions, like real ones. And but this time she's just like so tired and so sad, and she's
Mm-hmm.
just like and it sucks. Oh. And Dasha shows up to like help her and to stitch her up and to talk to her. It's just like, you ruined this. How am I supposed to like ask for you to get what I
She
don't
wants to get
remember.
back to Russia.
Yeah, and how can I do that if you're failing, if you can't do
Yeah,
your
yeah,
job right? And she tells Dasha that she wants out.
yeah,
Uh and she's just like desperately crying in a very nice bathroom, by the way.
yeah.
It's a very nice
The
bathroom.
bathrooms are always nice
Yeah,
where Willinell lives. It's a trend. It's a
yeah, yeah.
pattern.
It's a request of hers to like
Yeah, she
there
wants a
must
nice
be a very good
bathroom,
bathroom. Um
which is
and that's it, I
understandable
think that's it.
also.
Huh?
It's understandable because nasty bathrooms are the worst, actually.
Yes. And I think that is
That
it
is
for
it.
the episode.
Mm.
Oh, there's the guy from that confronts Constantine, kind of implies, and we kind of know that actually Constantine is the one that stole the money from the 12 to escape.
Yeah, who cares?
So,
Now tell
yeah,
me, who cares about this?
no one.
No one,
Not
absolutely
us,
no one.
definitely.
I honestly don't know how they're going to maintain our interest in the fourth season in the 12 storyline because we're not interested in the 12 storyline already.
I swear to God, I prefer if they were lizard people. But they will just have to come up with something creative because everything else is just like meh.
I swear to God, if they're going to make a Russian organization like and the leader of the organization is like a Russian president or something, and I'll be pissed. They
Rightfully
can
so.
do this. It's a possible.
Come on, it's just like James Bond already burned through all of that shit, and so many other movies of spies and stuff. Oh, you just move on to something else, Jesus.
Russian spies are so annoying to me. I'm like, all these Russian spies. Where did they recruit them? Never saw even one of them ever in my entire life. As in, like, it's so stupid.
And
It's like I bet Italians are tired of mafia stories.
exactly.
I bet they are tired. Even though mafia actually exists. I mean,
Yes.
we also have
It's
gangs
like, oh,
here.
come on. Every country has their own mafia.
Yeah,
Well,
they're called differently.
in I would like there's like from Russia. There's only Russian spies or mafia or what ballet
Prostitutes
and prostitutes. Yeah, and from Mexico
and
there's only what?
the like male brides. Male
Oh yeah,
brides.
yeah. Got it. And from Mexico, there's only immigrants, uh, maids, gardeners, uh, narcos. Uh, what else? And that's it. That's what we get in the world. So people, move on. Do better. Be more creative.
Like
Don't
it's
use
just
Google
so
Translate.
it's so lazy at this point. I'm like, do you really think that people only hold these professions ever?
And please, if you include other countries, do not use Google Translate. Let's avoid being mummified.
The movie, it's killing me still. And they were so confident in red, thick font. Wow. Ugh.
When you try so hard, but you don't succeed.
I mean, they
No,
didn't try
they didn't
very
even
hard.
try. Yes.
Okay, I'm
So
tired. It's been 3 hours
I
and
am very
it's
sleepy
12
too.
p.m. Oh my god. France as dummy mommy. I mean,
Yeah.
French people, I think better with French people, although they're all like sex experts for some reason. And I'm like,
Yes.
okay.
French characters are always either super pretentious, super horny, or super artsy.
Or cooks.
Yeah, they have
French
to cook.
cooks. Which
Um,
I feel like it's not as bad as prostitutes or drug
yes,
lords.
definitely. Yeah, they're doing better than us on that area of representation in the world.
Yeah.
Uh, I
Okay then.
have a sleep.
Oh, my back is killing me, honestly. I'll see you all next weekend. It's not
Yeah.
gonna be. It's gonna be Saturday and not Sunday
Okay.
because Sunday is pre-Valentine's and I think we're going somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So Saturday.
Got it.
Saturday is the day after Friday, right? Because I mix them up sometimes.
Yes, yes, it is.
It's been known that I mix them up sometimes.
The 12th. 12th, February 12th.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay then. I'll see you next week. The next two episodes are actually good. Ish.
Yeah.
Good-ish. They're better than
2 episodes, right? We have
yeah,
left.
2 episodes left.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
See you.